Hey guys, Sunstreaker Wozza here. Welcome back to another live stream, and yes, we're back with obviously the most important Transformers Earth news this week. So, as promised, I said I would have a special guest with me this week, and as you can see, we've been trying to sort that out, but it has been unsuccessful. But guys, Grind Time is actually in the house with me, so thank you, Grind Time, for joining us.
Ooh, hey guys.
So apologies that we can't get Grind Time's camera on. We literally had it all set up, ready to go in time. We're like, right, yeah, we're set. And then something happened and Grind Time froze and we couldn't get him back. So we said, listen, if we can't get his camera on, the least we can do though is we can actually even get, at least have Grind Time on the stream in voice, in spirit. But not on camera.
I am the spirit. You hear me, but you can't see me.
So it's cool to have Grind Time back with us anyway. But yes, today's stream. So what we're going to be talking about. So we're going to be talking about. So last week we talked about bots that are kind of future proof, that you can invest in. They're going to be relevant throughout time. There's already maybe counters to them, and they're still relevant in the game with them counters. So they're not going to over counter it. So we know that they're going to be relevant in the game for quite a while. So I thought that this week we'd do the opposite. We'd talk about a bit about bots that you shouldn't really invest in because I can't see any future in them. So we're not going to sort of include some bots that we know are really, really poor because they probably might get a buff at some point in the near future. So we're looking at bots that maybe have had a buff or are still a bit relevant, but not enough. So Grant Times picked his 5, I picked my 5, and so we'll talk a bit about them. I don't even know what Grant Times picked, but we'll go through each other's and sort of discuss why we sort of picked them out. We're talking a bit about HQ18 Phase 3, came into testing, all playtest sort of kicked off. I got banished from playtest over it because I was that furious about it. And so, yeah, I am banished from playtest for a while, for the 3rd time now, sadly. And we're going to talk about why that happened and why they sort of put it on the back burner and shelved it for the time being, considering all the top players were fighting, wanting it out. So why has that been put on the shelf? So we're going to talk a bit about that as well. We're talking about Optimus Prime. The main drawing point of the game, the main transformer that everyone knows, broken. So I did cover this a bit on the stream a few weeks ago. I wanted to do the rush and smash and couldn't really work out what was going on and why was it working. And so, yeah, we're going to be having a look at that. And the best part in the game is seeing why it's not working. And then we're also talking a bit about wars and our Unicron war against One Prime, which was mental, absolutely crazy. So you'll be getting mine and Brian's reaction to that, and then obviously we're going to be looking at the new bots as well. So cannot wait for that. So loads in today's stream. So do you want to say some hellos to people in the chat, Grand Time, seeing as you're here for as a guest?
I can do that. First on mine was Trax.
Yep.
And Ricky Lau. Then me. Then William Wilkinson was here. I don't know how to say that next name. Hunter Cormundi. I slaughtered that. Sorry. E-Rods is here. KP's here. Then there's me again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's a lot of work to do these things. Go smoothly either. Carnage Mick Alright is here. The Mercenary Terror, Grimlador. Then there's me again. Chris Harmon, Stan Tarvin, Tony B, Swoop, Jamie Carpenter. Shanny's here. Welcome, buddy. Good to see you here. Hellraiser. And who else we got? Ghost Player is here. Somebody said it's their first one. Where's that at? Maybe I made that up. I thought I saw somebody say it was her first one. I may be making stuff up.
Yeah.
All right.
Making stuff up.
Michael Cooper, thank you for joining. And Mark Geisen. Robert Griffin. Oh, Robert Griffin said it was his first. See, I didn't make it up. He said it.
And then retracted it just to mess with you.
Just to see if I was paying attention, probably.
No, welcome to the stream, and obviously Cyber Inferno with the clutch, and obviously a big shout out to all my members, and obviously Grind Time, my biggest supporter. And big shout out to obviously everyone. And just an FYI, grind time, your mic went really loud then again. Better problem to the sound as well, guys. So you had to apologise. Hopefully it sort of levels off, but it's been going really quiet, really loud. So yeah, we'll have to just bear with it sadly and do our best. Okay, cool. Right, okay, let's have a look at this week's newsletter. So, bar week, grana week, ninny bong. This weekend's event is Double Jeopardy Season 27. So, this weekend's event is Lions Combiner event. So, I always like these events for lower level players to get their combiners, get the bots that are missing, hopefully. So, I think these are aimed at lower players. So, I'm all about this event. 60 combiner crystals. 40 premium combat chips, 200,000 combiner spark, 150,000 spark, 4-star shards, 3-star shards, 30,000 prem crystals. Alliance total is 500k, which is alright, not too bad. Anyone you think of the level this weekend grind time? Anything you want to focus on, you think?
On my main account, it'll just be probably whoever's next in line.
Just knocking them off one by one.
Knocking them off one by one. And on Optimus Prime account, it'll probably be there's a couple bots that I'm thinking about leveling up to give me some versatility. I don't have everything leveled or don't have all the bots on that account, so I need some more versatility, especially participating in these Unicron League Wars. Some guys have to switch up methods, and I'm not able to do that on that second account yet because I've only focused on one war team. So, gotta work on my variety.
Yeah, I'm actually going to work a bit on aerial, believe it or not. So yeah, a lot of Russian smash in the last war. It's a good option to have, and I think having aerial on there might just cheapen that a bit. But I want to test it first. I'm going to level anyway. She's got some good stats, and even at worst, I think she'd be a good tank to have in my team. So I think I'm going to level her over either this or even the endurance, depending on the bot, which we'll also talk about later. But that's my sort of plans over the next few weeks is to get Aaron up. And Philip Martin just put, did you say Cannabis Prime? No, Optimus Prime. Not Cannabis Prime. Battle zones, normal as always. So new combats were obviously last week. So what do you guys think of them? Did you go do the event? Did you complete it? I didn't really bother. I don't think I really missed much. Really, did you complete the event last week, Grind Time?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you did.
on my main account, not on my secondary account.
Have you used new combats much, or?
No. No. I've added it, but I haven't had much time to actually go through and see how it's doing.
Okay. We've also got a player survey, which you can win 5 in a 5-star shard. And someone sort of mentioned in the chat, it's a good point this, that someone put, oh yeah, you're only going to win if you put positive feedback. That's not true at all. Whether you give positive feedback or negative feedback doesn't matter. You get put in the draw regardless, guys. So yeah, don't worry about that. And yes, obviously, it's sort of mentioned in the newsletter that we had a crazy war, which again, we'll talk a bit about that later, but it was absolutely mad. They're accepting new playtesters. Now that I've been kicked out, you can have my place. So go and apply for to be in the PT, guys. Alliance HQ is back. So obviously, this is on the back of a few bugs. And so they closed the Alliance HQ, and I think it's a fair point, a fair move. I don't mind that. My only thing is that I have to play other games, and I don't mind saying it. The other game that I mainly play is Marvel Strike Force. And when they do things like this, they sort of, they give you some rewards, as compensation. But Space Ape don't. I don't understand that. I mean, where do you stand? I mean, I doubt Grindtime's going to say, no, I don't want extra resources. But where would you stand on that? Do you think that we deserve, some compensation and such?
I definitely think. I think it's just a good gesture to the player base, to offer up a little bit. I mean, everyone understands that kind of stuff can happen from time to time, and they got to do it, which is fine. But yeah, they should offer up something.
Yeah, I mean, close your line to HQ. I get it's bugged. I get you don't want to annoy players, and then reopen it and go, listen, guys, we're sorry that we had to close the Alliance HQ. Here's 3,000 Shanix and 50,000 Spark and some Energine Ally. Done. The donations that you would probably normally put in. Something like that. Nothing. Not saying like 5-star shards, something stupid, but it's more the gesture. You're like, oh right, this is pretty cool, and it happens on Marvel Strike Force, like I said, and you get things, and you don't look at it and go like, oh my god, they've given me the best thing in the game. They just give you a bit of something. You're like, all right, yeah, cool, thanks for that. And like you said, grind time just goes a long way, doesn't it? Really, in the sort of the relationship between the apes and ourselves. So, that's the big thing for me at the minute is compensation. For when things go wrong. But let's be honest, I think so many things go wrong that they'll be giving compensation out every week. So hopefully they can fix that soon. Season 27, so we've got Red Alert and I think it's Cybertron. No, Armada Starscream, sorry. So yeah, pretty cool skins. Do you like the skins? What do you think, Grind Time?
Oh, I'm all about the skins. Skins and avatars. Those are the things I want them focusing on and spending all their time on. That's really good. Especially since all the bugs have been ironed out already, so there's nothing else for them to work on. That's yay, skins.
So there is a hint of sarcasm, just to point out, guys, because I know Grind Time will enough. He's not about the skins. I'm not too sure about. I like obviously Starscream skin, pretty cool. I'm not too keen on Red Alerts though. Bit meh, but I could not tell if it's like a toy or not. I don't know, but I don't really. I like very much G1 out of. But yeah, it's what it is. But yeah, usual rewards from the Battle Pass. Obviously, go check out your content creators, myself, NJ Hoist, and Freezes Max and Soldier, and go and check out Grind Time's videos. You can go and find them somewhere from like 5 years ago. Grind Time obviously needs to start streaming again. I keep telling him this, but he doesn't listen to me. Maybe you guys can convince him. Then we've got the Saga schedule of 8 weeks, so we are actually in week 6. So they are hoping to get the new bot completed by next week, done and dusted, hopefully. And that gives us a week. But I have said to Space Ape, this needs to be sooner. For me, the endurance bot should have been finished after week 4. We should give people 4 weeks notice to say, hey, these are the new bots. This is when they're going to be out. 4 weeks notice.
And they could be building hype around them for that time too. I mean,
yeah,
get people excited about them and that kind of thing, and just making it more of a thing rather than going at the last minute. Here we're sliding these guys out. Maybe they work, maybe they don't.
Yeah,
this may be their stats. It may not be their stats. We don't know.
Yeah, well, I think like week 1, week 2, we should have it in play testing the content creators to start building that hype up, and then by week 4 we should be, listen, they are done. This is what you're competing for.
Right.
Done and dusted, and everyone knows. I just said today that I find that everyone's sort of bidding blind at the minute on the maybe endurance bot, maybe being good, maybe not, and people tend to. I said to that it's that kind of thing at the minute where people are going for the endurance not for the bot as such, but to level bots. And just using that opportunity and thinking, oh, I can level some bots, I'll get a 5-star out of it while I'm there. Where really it should be the way around. It should be going for the 5-star and level some bots while they're doing that. But
right.
where do you stand in these endurance events? You play a lot of them. I don't think you played all of them. I think you missed a couple, didn't you, or something?
There was a couple I didn't do, but for the most part I do them mostly because I'm a collector of it. I want to have them all because even when the bot comes out, if it isn't a bot that's going to make my war team, they make so many changes, post release that maybe it'll be working later. Something I can put on the team.
Yeah, true. Maybe. Yeah. Few lackluster releases though recently, so hopefully they can get this one right, and it's a decent bot. Some decent Unity cards, some decent drawings as always, and then bug fixes and improvements. Still no fix for Brawn. Still. Come on, Space Ape, get your act together. And I think this is obviously a bit of the reason why I got kicked out of PT through frustration of these sort of things. that Braun was as he was, came out in a 5-star batch. They buffed him, brilliant. Didn't work. I did a video on it. They said they fixed it. It didn't. I did a video on it. Said they fixed it, and it hasn't. So 2 fixes that have apparently gone in that have not fixed him, and he's still broken. And then we come to the newsletter this week, and nothing. You know, and I've said to Dale as well. I said, I want to say as well. I say Dale a lot in the streams because it's not Dale's fault, though, guys. Don't blame Dale. Dale's at the point of contact because obviously he's the community manager. So he deals with Discord and deals with the content creators and things like that. So he passes our concerns on. So he gets the flack, sadly, but it's not his fault. And I just said to Dale, I said, like, you know, I understand bugs happen. Fix them in a week or 2. No problem. I'll have you back. I'm like, listen, guys, these things happen. But when they fix it and it's not fixed, and they fix it and it's not fixed, that's where my frustrations come. Or where there's a bug and I do a video on it and everyone's talking about Discord and they go, oh, we didn't know about it. Well, the information is there. You're just not looking for it. And, you know, and it can go six weeks without a fix. These are the things that frustrate me, not the bugs in the first place. It's that they're not getting fixed. But some bug fixes, they are doing some bug fixes behind the scenes. There was an issue with Octane's damage reduction shield lasting 1/3 of its stated duration, which has been fixed. That's cool. I like that. And then they corrected a picture for Octane's G1. This is a massive problem on the test server as well, because we're getting new G1s and we're trying to test them and trying to put them on bots and we can't even find them. You got to think on the test server, we've got so many G1s that have been tested throughout time that it's absolutely mental how many G1s we've got, and then we can't even find them. You know, it's really frustrating. It's even harder than on the live server. So they need to really get a grip of this and make sure that all the new cores have the pictures on to make them easy to find. It's really, really frustrating. And hopefully it's not just Octane's G1, but they can do it with all of them. And that is everything from the news. So let's have a look at the chat, see what everyone is sort of saying. A quick drink. Talking about the event. Where are we? Trax Penny Lancaster spot only did 30k. Didn't really try and care about his combat. Yeah. Ghost Players put could Hotshot and Demolisher maybe future characters. We don't really know. I said it's Space Ape. They should announce like the next 6 months ago. And listen, these are the characters for the next 6 months. You know, again, building up some, you know, interest in these characters well beforehand. You know,
some hype. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Sarah Inferno's put totally agree in the gestures, offered to give some love back. Yeah, what's going to cost them? Nothing really. What else? So Michael put Marvel Strike Force as its fair share of issues. Space Ape did copy their Cyberstore idea. Yeah, I think so too. Very similar. Same company and everything. So, yeah. Mostly Terror. I love orange, but that skin is just doesn't work well, in my opinion. Yeah, same. Mark Cooper put in a survey. Content needs more time for playtest and feedback before putting the game. 100 million %. Can't agree with you more. Definitely. Grand Time's laughing because he knows what I actually think about that. I'm being very polite.
And Alpha Trion's comment there too. Broken bot, I choose you.
Yeah, sadly. Shane Clayton, any inside news on new ability 11s? No. Zero, nada. But that does need to come soon. I do think we need some new ability 11s. So, yeah, we'll wait for that. Mario Zambiano, are you talking Sandbox today? I saw it in the survey. We're going to touch a bit about it and talk about the survey results because I've actually got the results of the survey. So we are going to talk a bit about that. I need to go to communications school. No, he is good to be fair, but he tries to do a lot. He does a lot to be fair, like, and I think he's swamped with work. He tries to do too much maybe, but he's only trying to help the game. Carver's put the way he says things. Yeah, but sometimes it ticks people off the wrong way. Yeah, but you know what? I get that sometimes even. It's very hard over text. People have said to me in the past that how you sort of come across in stream is different to how you talk in chat sometimes, and it can be misinterpreted sometimes on how you're sort of saying things. That's why I love emojis when you're talking, because literally if you're annoyed, you can put annoyed emoji. If you're laughing, you can be sarcastic, you can put laughing emoji. But people take it out of context sometimes and how you actually mean it. But I do understand what you're saying about that. Shane Clayton, love to see an ability 11 for Ape Face. Yeah, well, I'd love to see Ape Face and Broadside as a 5-star. To be fair, I think really cool. More bug fixes. Alphatron, yeah, agreed. Mario Zambiano. Dale's okay, just needs to phrase things better the way he says some things. Yeah, similar sort of thing. Richard Trinder, how's it going? Good to have you. Kim Bayano has put any news on S811s. No news. No news at all. Marilyn, on the other hand, I'm not a fan. Yeah, I just want to comment on that, actually, dead quick. Did you catch that grind time on the stream?
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't watch their streams anymore, but I did read about the hubbub, so I went back and kind of checked it out. I want to hear your thoughts on it before I say mine.
Well, my sort of thoughts on it are, let's be honest, we all sort of make jokes at someone else's expense sometimes, and sometimes they aren't. You would make a joke that maybe you don't want that person to sort of hear. Do I think she thinks we're all losers? No, I don't for 1 minute. Do I think it's a joke? Yeah, I think it was a joke. Is it quite poor that she said that on a stream when people could probably hear it? Yeah. You know, it's like if I'm at work and there's like a certain customer, you're like, look at him over there. Oh my God, like, because he's might be wearing something funny or something or whatever. It's an innocent joke. You're like, oh my God, look what he's wearing over there. What the hell is that? Might be a bright pink shirt or something. Would I go over and go to him, oh, what the hell are you wearing? No, not in a million years would I do that. But you might make a joke about it. And it's an innocent joke. It's not like you're being anything awful or anything. So that's my sort of take on it. What's
Same
yours?
thing at my work. You know, we deal with customers too, and there are some customers that, you know, after they leave, among us employees, we will make certain jokes or whatever comments that we would never say in front of the customer. And to me, her comment was a joke for sure, but it gives me the impression that that's something that's been said behind the scenes before, maybe out of frustration or whatever. And it's just, you know, it's kind of an inside joke with them that she decided to make a joke where she knew we could hear it. I don't think she accidentally got caught saying it. I think she totally knew what she was doing, trying to make a joke. I just think it was in poor taste. And I'm sure in hindsight she wished she hadn't done it. I don't think she's a bad person or anything like that about it. I just think she made a bad decision, which we've all done from time to time. So
yeah, I sort of hit her up and just said, you know, lesson learned. We've all made mistakes in whatever, right. Even myself in streaming and game, whatever else. I look back and go, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And then you just sort of, you know, live and learn. You know, I said to her, listen from an old non-wise head. You know, we all make mistakes, but it is what it is.
The problem with it is you compound that on top of the go play another game comment and all this other stuff, and all on the player base, and all of a sudden it's, you know, putting an ember to a pile of kindling. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it was just poor, a bad decision. So
yeah, like they sort of said, you know, like we sort of said in the chat, you know, some things take that context sometimes and blown up out of proportion. Do I think Yanis meant for everyone to go and play another game? No. And a good point is, I think we forget sometimes that English is not Yanis's first language. It's his second language. So what he might want to say doesn't come across quite 100%. I don't think he meant go and play another game. What he meant was, listen, that's the way it is. If you don't like it, then tough. You know, and maybe that's not exactly, you know, a good bedside manner, but he is quite blunt like that, Yanis. And I don't think for a minute he meant go and play another game. But I'm less forgiving for Yanis because he's a bit older and should know better than maybe saying them things than Morale, who's quite young and maybe a bit naive and didn't know. And Do you know what I mean? A bit more forgiving for.
I always feel bad for Dale and you say it Merrill. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how you say her name. I feel bad for them because they're always the ones taking the brunt of everything, and it's never their decision for the most. I don't think. I think it always comes from above them. They're the middleman giving us the news, and they are also the person that we give feedback to. So they're catching it on both ends. I'm sure. Some days I don't know why they come back to. I don't know why they log back in. You know what I mean?
And that's just dealing with me.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, but nah, I don't think she made that bad. But yeah. But yeah, just put that to bed. Merch Terror 3 should have merch saying, "No, I will say this." Yeah, but we all have a lot of things like that, don't we? We all have a lot of things like that. I say a lot. And do you know what I mean? That's Kyle myself. Do you know what I mean? We all have our little, idiosyncrasies. I can't pronounce it. We had that thing. Any idea when 5-star Titan? Don't, Chris, please, come on. Don't wish them on us. Come on. We don't want 5-star Titans. I'm dreading 5-star combiners, if I'm honest with you. But how they're going to balance that, I don't know. I like that Carnage Mac. All right, but I said to Dale, is such a catchphrase to the stream. See, I did that as well, yeah. Because I do talk to Dale quite a lot, to be fair. Mario Zambiano, I don't like Jesse. Well,
Alpha Tryon had up there, Wozza and Free should switch accounts for a week. No changes allowed, and call it Shattered Glass Streamer Edition. That's a good one.
I don't think Space Ape would like that somehow. I don't think I'd be welcome back in Horde somehow as well either, by some people. So maybe not. By some people I might add. There's a lot of people in Horde are really, really good guys. Just to throw that in there. I don't want to make it out like I've got bad blood. A lot of good Horde guys, but it's just a couple that might maybe not.
I think he just meant your streams, but yeah.
Oh right, taking over the stream accounts. Oh yeah, God no.
Yeah.
Oh God no. God imagine. No, I'm not having him take my money. Not a chance. Michael Cooper's but Freezers wants Mirage Jake for 5-star polls. Everyone wants Mirage Jake for 5-star polls, but don't forget he's kind of retired. I've got my daughter all doing my polls now, which is mixed polls, so probably better luck than I would have though. But yeah, cool. All right, let's go into the game. Cool. Still there, grind time?
I'm here.
Cool, grind time is still here. So,
disembodied voice. Yep.
just his spirit is here. So we're going to talk about these 5 bots not to invest in. So I think we'll go through mine first, and I'll talk about 5 bots that I think you shouldn't invest in. I'll say why and why I think that, and then we'll go through grind times, compare, and sort of see if we sort of agree or not. You know, on some of them, maybe none of them. Who knows? We can agree, disagree. We'll talk about my and see what grind time thinks of my selections as well. So first selection for me, and the reason that I've chose this bot is that it became a 5-star. We sort of fighted for it to have a buff. Didn't really get it. Got a G1. Got ability 11. Didn't get anywhere. Any idea who I'm talking about grind time?
It's probably one of the ones on my list, but we'll see.
Let's see. Well, that bot is actually Hound.
Okay, he almost made my list, yeah.
Yeah, I just think that obviously we're trying to exclude the really, really worst bots in the game because we know they're probably going to get a buff at some point. So I think the likes of maybe Cliff Jumper, obviously Cosmos looking to get a buff now, Ultra Magnus, I think these bots will get a good buff. But I think Hound's one of those bots that he does what he's supposed to do well. He does kill, resource buildings really well. But outside of that, he's not very good. And he has great range, but it's just really hard to really find any real use for him. And I just can't see him getting really rebuffed again. for any decent use personally. So I just think that if you do pull a 4 or 5 star hound, don't go crazy on him. Don't invest too much. You'll find that very quickly, once you get to the higher levels of the game, he just doesn't do much, really. No, and I started when I spoke to Grindsam, I said, you know, also think of, you know, leveling, thinking of Zen farming, all these things, because you might look at the likes of Star Saber and Elite and go, yeah, the top level wars, they're not really relevant right now. That can change over time, but they're still be relevant for Zen farming. You still have a good use for them. Can you use Hound for Zen farming and for all these things? And maybe not so much. So, you know, don't invest too much in him. Second on my list, again, another bot with a G1, another bot with ability 11, a 5 star, and I think because it fell away from the meta quite quickly after the release of SG Jetfire and further jets down the line. Just pushing this bot further and further back. And I think that Space Ape are going away from buffing old one-shot bots. They're not going to buff these guys so much to be totally relevant, I don't think. So, any idea who I'm thinking of?
Is it just Jetfire?
Almost. It's actually Firefly, who I don't have a 5 star actually. So he's available with the 5 star, but I only have as a 4 star. Let me just get him on the screen if I can find him. Obviously quite low down because I use Jetfire, which is just a bit more.
Sort by aerial bots.
Yeah, fair point. I always forget that. Yeah, so again, you know, had ability 11, had a G1, doesn't do as much as Jetfire, and even Jetfire is struggling in the current meta to do anything. And I think that with the likes of Roadbuster and SG Jetfire, I don't think you're going to see much of this guy. And you can one shot at some, you know, decent levels. But once you get to Cybertron and above, then he starts to really struggle. Once you get past Cybertron, I'd say. And falls away quite quickly. So even at a 5 star, guys, he's not. He can do a bit of Zen farming. I think that's about it. Not really. You can use him in events, really. Even as a 5 star, I can't see him getting much of a buff because he actually does what he's supposed to do. Actually, quite well. Just as a one shot at decent at low levels, does really well. Good AOE for ability 11, and I like the idea behind Firefly, but he's just not kept with the meta, but not quite awful enough to get a buff. There's a lot more jets, a lot worse off than Firefly, so I wouldn't invest too much in Firefly. Next up, so this was I'm going to release I think a couple of years ago. And in testing, we had some good ideas on how you could use him. And again, he does what he's supposed to do very well. I don't think they can buff him more than what he has, because what he does is actually quite good. Quite a new 5 star in the last couple of years. Special bot, I think. Only available as a 4 star at the minute. Any idea who that is, Grind Time? I like this quiz.
Special bot only available as a 4 star that had a buff already. I don't know.
I'm just gonna put your volume up a bit.
How's that?
Better. And that bot is SG Goldbug.
Okay.
So when we sort of tested him with Warpath, combining him, we thought, wow, this is actually pretty good. And then what did they do? They brought out Warpath with Glass Gas. So straight away made SG Goldbug totally irrelevant.
I forgot that bot existed.
Exactly. But you got to think that if they buff him, he does Glass Gas in an infinite range. They're not going to really give him 60% damage. You're not 40% sort of like the, you know, we had Inferno at 40% until recently as a 5 star. 40% Glass Gas is like the sort of, you know, point of no return where they won't go past. Infinite range, I mean, what else can they give him really? I mean, he isn't a 5 star yet. He hasn't got ability 11. He hasn't got a G1. But I think even to make this guy a 5 star, I'm going to struggle to really give him much. And I don't think he's top of the list of 5 stars anyway. I don't think anyone's requested him anytime soon. So that's another bot that I think not to invest too much in, guys, and not to worry too much about. Next up is a warrior. So this bot's been in the game for, I wouldn't say since concept, for a long time though. Had a couple of buffs over the years, but just fell away from the meta when a bot very similar to that bot became a 5-star. I think this 5-star is in pretty much most people's war teams now. And so this bot is just a poor man's version, basically. Any idea, Jacob? Jacob?
At least you didn't call me by your daughter's name.
Oh my god. Yeah, let's try that again. Yeah, let's go to be Jacob for a while and pull my 5-stars, man. You can do that if you want.
If I was Jacob, I'd go play another game. I wouldn't.
Any idea who that is, Grind Time?
Sideswipe?
No. It's RC.
RC, okay, yep.
Yeah, I just think that having Rook in everyone's war team just ruined her. When they brought Rook out, it replaced RC, and I just think Rook's a lot better. A lot better. It's going to take a lot for me to make RC as good as Rook. I think
there's really not much they could do other than make her do what Rook does, which why, so
yeah,
they're basically the same. In idea, they're basically the same bot. So
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think she's a lower cost, but with the way that obviously DPS is going with defenses, even at Cybertron, that Hollow dies pretty quickly. And again, I don't think she's top of the list to get a buff because she's not awful. Like you'll see me saying quite a bit about all these bots. They're not awful, but they're definitely not great either. I don't think you'll see RC on pretty much anyone's war team as well, which I think is a common factor in all these bots. So, not viable at the top levels of the game. You're not going to farm with her. You're not going to do anything with her. You're not going to get any Zen with her. So, she's not going to give you anything in the game, really. Any benefit as such. And then lastly, might be a bit of a surprise. So this bot was made a 5-star a few years ago. I think everyone was excited when it was made a 5-star. One of the highest damage in the game. But when it came to trying it out in war teams, just didn't do well at all. Not bad for Zen farming, actually. I use this bot for Zen farming here and there. I haven't gone for the 5-star though. I've kept away from it. Can be good for Zen farming and leveling maybe in certain circumstances, but it's misleading because when you see the stats and how much damage that the bot does, you're like, wow, that must be amazing. But in practice, just no. Any idea, Grind Time? I'll give you another clue. It's a triple changer.
Oh, triple changer. Okay, so is that?
Oh, I made it easy. Come on.
Triple changer must be Skylinks.
Spot on. Yeah. Super crazy damage when you look at his stats. But have you seen anyone using Skylinks in wars?
No.
No. So I think it's simply down to the pathing, running ahead. They've actually given him a buff recently and slowed him down. They made him be able to combine with with the top spin, but it didn't really work out either. Got too costly and stuff. So Skylinks is good. They're not going to give him a damage buff. They've already slowed him down already. He's okay, but again, he's not amazing. He's not awful either. He has a couple of uses, but quite misleading, guys. If you try and use this for Zen farming, things like that, attack the HQ, kill the HQ, that is it. If you're trying to go through the base with Skylinks, it's going to get very costly very quickly if it's not a clustered base. So very niche. And so I'm just not a big fan of Skylinks in general. Actually, the only bot in that batch that I have left to pull, and I haven't pulled it, I've literally just left it there, and I don't think I'll ever will pull it. Cool, well that's my 5. So do you want to do your 5, Grind time. Want to give some clues? You want to? I can just come out and say it. I'll leave it up to you. But let's start
Okay.
with your number one choice for bots not to invest in.
So first of all, when you gave me the assignment about doing this, I tried to think of, like you said, I thought I was on the right path there with bots that I went with all 5-star bots, and I think most of mine have G1s and or SA11s already.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, okay, so these bots are the ones that probably are not going to get any more buffs, or at least no time soon. But I may be wrong on some of them. So the first one is one of the I would call him one of the most iconic characters, and it's a real shame that he's trash in the game. He was in the G1 movie.
G1 movie. Not to invest too much in.
Not to invest too much in. The Decepticon counterpart is better than he is.
Oh, Ultra Magnus?
Ultra Magnus. He has an SA11 already. He has a G1 core already. And still, I don't think he's worth much investment.
Do you not think he'll get a buff off Space Ape, though, knowing he's that awful? Or do you think even after the buff, it won't be that good either?
I think they're going to struggle to buff him because his counterpart is Galvatron, and they do different things. So they're going to have to bring him in line somehow. And just based off all the interaction we've had with them, I think they're going to say it's going to be too difficult, and they're just going to leave him. You know?
Yeah, I didn't choose Ultra Magnus because I think he will get a buff. I think that everyone knows he's pretty awful. But like I said, the problem is that Galvatron's not. That's the big stumbling block.
And I hope he does, because I love it. He's one of my favorite characters, but I don't use him because he's just terrible. And in fact, for a while, I was going to level him up and use him and just force him in there just to say I could use him, but he's not worth it.
Yeah.
He's really bad. So that was my first one.
Okay, number two.
Let me find the spot, because I'm kind of looking at them on my phone as we go. So this one is a bot I didn't know anything about until I started playing the game. And then after I started playing the game, I started researching. This was one of the bots I started researching the whole group that they're in, because I didn't know anything about any of them. And apparently I can't find them either. Just give me a second. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, but the second bot is a female Autobot, and that's Skyburst.
I was going to say Pyramagna, but
Pyramagna is also one that could be on this list as well. But Skyburst, and for some reason I cannot find her to go over the stuff.
I always think that, is she a gunner? Is she just a special, isn't she? Because she's that weird one that's not a gunner, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, why Skyburst then?
She's one of those bots that you can't. She's not really useful for. She's not going to make your war team. You're not going to use her just for Zen farming or raiding, really. Not on her own, anyway. I mean, maybe you could throw her in as part of a team to do it. But again, the way I looked at it, and I really wish I could find her. She's just hiding on my screen, and I can't find her at all.
She's on my screen. That's all right.
But I just don't have a use for her individually, I guess is the reason why. And to be fair, I think there's several gunners, which I don't think she's gunner class. If I could find her, it would help. But I don't think she's gunner class. But I don't think many gunners are. I think several gunners could make this. Don't invest too much in. Jazz isn't what he used to be. Prowl isn't what he used to be. And Sunstreaker's had a boost recently, and he isn't really necessarily worth that investment either. So.
Yeah, I was looking at Jazz and Sunstreaker. I can see them getting a cost reduction. I really can. And I think if they do that, it might actually make them quite viable. Skyburst had a buff quite recently, I think. Maybe, I say recently, I mean like since release, maybe a couple of years ago. And then they gave a more damage per rocket, I think it was something. And then they gave was it the ability 11, where it doubled the amount of
Yes,
rockets?
I finally found her. Yeah, so
yeah,
she's currently at level 8 on mine. It says shoots 12 small rockets from long range, dealing up to 9834 damage in a line. And the ability 11 is shoots 12 small rockets from long range, dealing up to 1096.
Yeah.
That's your increase. And her G1 is increases the special ability by, mine's at level 16, increases it by 24.5% and stuns the targets for 3 seconds. Which a 3-second stun in this meta is
It's nothing.
Yeah. So I just think that all the stuff she's got is just, she's already got it. She's already been buffed. Probably not going to get it again if I had to guess. At least no time soon. So to me, she's kind of one of those bots that you don't really want to waste too much resources in.
Yeah, I think some 5 stars though. I think some of the 4 stars I put in because I think Dale's concentrating on 5 stars for the legacy batches. But I think she'll always be a cleanup bot, and cleanup bots just generally don't do very well. So, yeah, I kind of see where you're going with that, definitely. Next one.
Okay, the next one is another G1 bot. I think he was in the movie. I think so. He's a special, and he when he, I can't remember if it was when he came out or if he had a buff that made everyone kind of go crazy for him for a minute. And then, especially with the Amalgamus core, he was popular there for a hot minute, but then he's kind of fallen away. And now he's one of those, he's one of my dispatch soldiers. Like I throw him on a dispatch team whenever I need to soak up points on a dispatch mission, and that's Snarl.
Yeah, I thought so much. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got his ability 11, he's got his G1 core, and you still don't see him, you know. And I just don't know what else they could do with him to make him relevant.
Yeah, I don't know, you know, I can see Snarl getting a buff quite soon. I don't know anything about behind the scenes, guys, but the way I look at that is I think Snarl is definitely up there as one of the worst bots in the game. But you're right, he has had a G1, he has had 2 buffs, he has got ability 11, he has had absolutely everything thrown at him and still not be relevant. And even in testing, we were like, this needs to be more, it needs to be more. And Space Ape were like, no, we're not going to do that. And so you start to think, like, why? What? Do they see something we don't? And sometimes they've got a point. Sometimes we go, oh, it should do more. And they go, no. And then someone comes out with something clever. And you're like, oh, yeah, I kind of get now why you sort of said that. But in case it says a Snarl, I still think he needs a buff. But I think they know that. I think they know how poor he is. And I always think that if they're already 5 stars as well, they're going to be more open to buffing 5 stars because they know it's top level of the game and people shouldn't be disappointed by 5-star polls. So, although I agree right now, 100% don't invest in Snarl right now, I don't know, you know, I think we might see a buff for Snarl eventually.
Okay. And then my next one is one of his teammates. That's a 5-star, has an SA-11, has a G1 core, and does exactly what they wanted him to do, but what he does is just irrelevant, and that's Sludge.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You know, what else can you do for the guy? Like you make him do what he's designed to do very well, but what he's designed to do is just not needed. Right now. Now maybe time traps come back, honeycombs come back, whatever, and all of a sudden, you know, having him and his G1 core or whatever would be really, really something chased after. But right now, I can't remember the last time I chose him for anything. You can't Zen farm with him. You can't raid with him.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do but send him on dispatch missions, maybe.
I did actually use him in a Unicron war.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, believe it or not. But I kind of get where you're going with it. And I've also spoke about this in the past, that to make Sludge relevant, they'd have to increase wall health. But to do that, they'd have to reprogram the game, because we talked quite a while ago about bots walking around walls because it's faster to walk around a wall than it is to get through it. It's a bad mechanic, but it's just the way the game's designed. And if they increase wall health by too much, bots will realise that rather than walking around it, rather than going through it, I can walk around it. And before we know it, they'll be walking halfway around the map just to get around a wall piece. And And so I don't know what they're going to do with that. I think they're just going to accept that sludge is just not relevant. Really.
Well, that's when they need to go through and add that core that you can put on each wall piece that gives each the tall pieces a little mini gun, and so it makes your bots focus on the defense, which is the wall, because it's attacking them. And then you can bring sludge in to destroy the walls, or nose cone to come through and bust them out, or something like that. You make it where you have to get rid of the walls rather than just path around them.
Yeah, there's a lot of bots that can break wall, but I will give sludge this, that is the only bot I think that actually you can put on a wall piece. So in terms of nose cone, you got to aim past the wall to a defense to use him. Same for Grimlock. I'm trying to think of other like high wall damage bots, even like Optimus Primal. You've got to target a defense, whereas sludge you can literally just target a wall.
Right.
So that's the only advantage that he has over all the wall busters, but. Even as a tank, he's not very good.
I remember when he came out as a 5-star, I was wanting to get him so bad because I was back there in the honeycomb, time trap era, and I was struggling, and he was the bot to get, and I got him, and he lasted a few months before he was irrelevant.
Yeah.
Okay, I got one more, last one.
Okay, last one.
This is a newer bot, and this may come down to just me being uneducated on how to use the spot, because the funny thing is you just mentioned maybe leveling the spot up to user. So Ariel Ariel is the bot I'm talking about.
Okay.
Reading over her description and what she does and her ability 11, and I could be totally off the rocker here, and everyone may call me a fool, which they wouldn't be wrong, but I don't see a benefit from her that's big enough for me to replace somebody else on a war team with. And you can't solo with her, so whenever I Zen farm, I'm one bot in every base, one bot in a combiner. So I can't Zen farm with her. I can't raid with her right now, unless I get taught how to use her or something, because maybe I'm not seeing it. She's not going to be on a war team, so to me, she's just useless.
Yeah, she's very niche, don't get me wrong. But my idea is in this war, and it's probably only even Unicron to be fair, so it is sort of like long road. I'm not even talking Prime League, I'm not talking Cybertron, I'm talking Unicron. So sometimes the base is just so front loaded and you think I could probably rush around this base and skip some of the defenses. And what I was finding was that you'd have to rush up to his Prime, rush him again, the bots start to follow, they had to rush again. So it's 3 rushes to get up to the top. And that's cost a lot of points. So I think my idea was that I rush once with Optimus, rush twice with Optimus, the bots start to follow, and then use aerial from then on. Because rather than using Optimus Prime, if we can find him. So Optimus, stats a minute. Optimus is 5 + 2, so that's 5, 7, and 9. So you're talking 21 ability points to get your bots where they need to be. Where if you use Optimus just twice, so 5 + 7, that's 12. And then you get aerial to do the last rush, or 2 rushes. Then that then lowers it to 12 plus.
She's 4 not.
12 plus 4 is 16. So you're saving a lot of ability points. And then when you do these rushes, you always destroy the target. You always do, because the DPS and the bots. And so by doing that, by destroying the building, the bots will get a 40% damage increase and damage absorption. So when you're rushing and smashing, it has quite a good use. Don't get me wrong though, that is the only use I can think of for. I don't think I'm going to put in my walk team. But she will do well in a Russian smash team, I think. Really well. But very niche. If you're not Russian smashing, then from what I can gather talking to you, Grant, I don't think I've ever seen you Russian smashing these wars.
Just in what's it called? Every 2 weeks raids. Just in raids. Russian smashing raids.
Yeah, well, you're not really gonna level a bot just for raids. Let's be honest. It's a sort of kind of a dead game mode, really, for most. So yeah, I kind of see where you're going with that, though. And listen, I'm not sitting here saying, listen, this is going to work, because it's just an idea I've got, and I've not got much else to level. So that is basically where I stand with that. But yeah, listen, guys, let us know in the chat. Let us know what you guys think. Do you agree with my selections? Agree with grind times? Agree with both of us? Agree with none of us? Let us know. Let's have a discussion in the chat, guys, and let me know what you think. So let's have a look in the chat and see what everyone else has put. See if they agree with us, and I can have a drink. Let's go. Chris Trudden got it right. He said, Hound and Dragstrip is a good Zen farmer. I don't use it for Zen. Do you use it for Zen farming?
Yeah, if I get down that low, I will. Just make sure he has a good combiner with him.
Yeah. Oh, great. I got some feedback there. Oh, right, gone now. Sorry, it's done. Chris Shredder put with Starscreen, you have to look at the loop if you care about the fire damage, which feels like too much work. Too much work. I don't know about that. I mean, you have to look at the loop.
Maybe flying out and coming back. That's the loop.
All right, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, Trax has put as well. I forgot about SG Goldbug, and I chased it 4-star. Yeah. Kristen Jones put, I use Sea Spray with SG Goldbug. Do you think it's pricey though? You know, it starts to cost quite a lot. You know, and I always say that, you know, why don't you use Sea Spray twice? You might go, yeah, but it's 2 points more expensive than using SG Goldbug. You're like, yeah, but you're only taking 1 bot. I'd rather use 1 bot twice and use 2 ability points and take another bot that I can use again than use 2 bots with 1 job. That's sort of my opinion of what I found. Trax has put, Tex loves RC, not so much anymore. We had to speak to him. He was dead against Rook and was like, no, RC is the one. And last time I spoke to him about it, was like, yeah, I concede that. But then again, I said Pipes is rubbish. I know. Get that on a t-shirt. Yeah, Sweet's put, I pulled 5-star RC recently, leveling her, but also have 5-star Rook. Stick to Rook. Don't worry about it. Simon Infernal's put, save that Skylink puff when 5-star Skyrain comes out. Fair point. It's got a good point. Michael Cooper, Skylinks is a glass cannon with an unreliable combo. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Simon Infernal's put, terrible bot, agree, desperately to buff, but they won't be working. Well, maybe. Yeah, Tony B, that's the point. It's what Ocean Magnus, sorry. And I say Ocean Magnus, I could say Galvatron, but Galvatron isn't that bad. And cons sometimes go, what are you talking about? It's not that bad. But like Ocean Magnus is. But it's put is so bad he's gonna get buffed. I think so too, personally. I think he's gonna get buffed. Surely. Yeah, Swoop loved Ultra Magnus in the show. He has a good point as well, isn't it? You know, he was a good G1 character in the cartoons and that. They've done him dirty. Candyman, I see Ultra Magnus in Outpost quite frequently. What?
I don't recall ever. Well,
not anymore. Years ago, maybe, but not since 2020 something. Tractors, but I mean, what do you expect from the H when Yanis believes Sludge is a great bot? He has his uses. I think that Sludge is the same as. Oh God. I think that Sludge is the same as Nose Cone. In certain situations, he is very OP. It's just not a lot of situations. That's the problem. Candyman's put Snow needs a built-in damage reflect. Oh, no more shields, please. No more shields, please. He just needs a lot of damage. You know, I've said this before. These special bosses need a I won't swear. A ton of damage. A ton of damage. That's all we need, like Twin Twist. Twin Twist doesn't have a shield. Just saying. Traxxas, but I didn't even bother with Sludge's G1 core. I did chase it a bit. I chased a few. Did you chase them? Grind time?
Not sludges. I got rooks and the healing one for Sandstorm.
It's funny, isn't it, that I was chasing the exact same ones. I got rooks, and I got, sadly, I got Sandstorm's toxic one.
I got both, yeah, on Sandstorm.
Yeah, I wanted the healing one, got the toxic one, and then I got gold for Sludge's G1, but obviously want G metal, so. But I did get rooks, so one positive from that. Vic Ching's put smells like a sack bot for me. Yeah, pretty much. Swoop, I got all these poor bots as 5 stars. Sad pulls, that is quite bad, mate. Unless you like grind time and got all the bots, then of course you've got them all.
I got them all as 5-star pulls too, so.
Chris trying to put sludge distractions are good against honeycombs, but if you're looking to spawn sharks, you can make a bunch quick. Yeah, but we don't really see honeycombs at higher levels as much, really. We see sort of this setup that you can see on the screen right now, but that's about it, really. You're not going to find much more than that.
I'll step away for a quick second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, cool. Smokey's put the damage increase doesn't work. He's talking about aerial. If that's the case, then I'll test it out and we'll do a video on it. And we'll see. Alpha Transport, I agree with you on none of these bots are worth the investment. Yeah. Track Spot, I think Firefly needs a buff. I still use Jetfire in War, as well as Sunstreaker to be in the bottom area to clear, so bots wall up north. Yeah, maybe. I think Sunstreaker's a bit expensive, that's all. I like Sunstreaker, it's not the cost that he's done it at. Kristen Jones put Sea Spray is cheaper than Warpath. Yeah, but nowhere near the range of fair. Still good bots. Both of them are still war bots. Don't get me wrong. But Warpath is massive in the meta right now. A lot of people using Warpath. I've tried, but if you get any of these bots in a 5-star, pick you here. Wow, wow, in the background. Yeah. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Yeah, that's what it means. Yeah. Alberto's, but I think Hound and Firefly are okay. At lower levels, I think they're all right. But I think once you get to high levels of the game, and that's, you know, a lot of people say to me, yeah, but Wozza, I play at this level and it's pretty good. Yeah, but you've got to think also like how long that can be relevant for. You make you that bot ability 10 or 11, and then when you go to it, you know, further down the line, you know, is no longer relevant because you at the top of a wall, and all of a sudden you're like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't give that bot ability 10 or ability 11 because he's not very good. So that's what we're talking about, guys. We're talking about, you know, the sort of throughout the game, if you're playing towards being a top player and you want to find some good bots to invest in, then these bots maybe are not the bots for you. Right. But not to say that they're awful and never, you know, going to be useful. All bots are useful in some way, especially at lower levels of the game. But at higher levels, it gets a lot more, you know, you have to pick and choose a lot more. Unless you grind time and level them all.
Gotta be ready.
Blade 19, how's it going? Good to see you. Mercer, as an avid HQ12 with only 11 4-stars, I'd take any of these 5 stars. Fair point. It's a fair point. Optimus Prime, what are people's opinion on the 4 best Decepticon outport spots for defense? Looking for both solo strength and combo options. What do you think, Grind Time? Best 4 bots. But let's think of some bots that are viable for lower players, maybe mid players. What do you think?
Well, I think it's all the same ones for the upper players. It's just you may have the 4-star version instead of the 5-star version. You know, bots like obviously Twin Twist or Quellagon, or even Swoop and Scourge. Rhinox, Tarantulas are good ones. Laser Optimus, Armada Megatron. Just think of all the bots we see in Outpost, you know, all the time.
I don't think Beachcomber would be more as relevant in lower levels. I don't think. What do you think?
If you have his G1, he might, because the G1 is what gives him that Golden Lagoon, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So even if you have the 4-star, which wouldn't have as much HP and stuff as the 5-star, but if you have that lagoon, I think it could still cause problems because the beachcomber would be leveled down, but so would the bots you're attacking with. They wouldn't be as high either. So.
Yeah. Siren Infernal's put red alert. Maybe not as relevant actually at lower levels. I don't think. I don't know. Be intrigued. I'm intrigued to see which bots work better. I think in lower levels you look more for more damage rather than protection. I think. What do you think?
It's been a long time.
Well, yeah.
Been a long time since we battled down that low. I guess maybe so.
I just remember when I used to put like Sentius and bots like that in outposts. Really high damage bots to do damage to their whatever they're using. Because Sentius against a Optimus Prime that someone might be using would rip into shreds. At lower levels. And then kill that bot. I don't think people look at mid to low. I might be wrong, but I don't think that people at low to mid levels look at a bot that protects defenses and things like that. They don't think that much into it. They just look at the bot and go, what bot will obliterate the other team, like Twin Twist, like a Sentius, bots like that. So
yeah, that's a fair point.
In my opinion, but again, I can't comment too much because you probably played at a lower level with your alt account more recently than me, so you probably did than me, to be fair. But I just think back to that, what outpost spots I sort of have when I was a HQ 10, 11, 12, whatever. But to be fair, they were the pinnacle of the game then. That's all.
Right.
Cool. Next up, so we're going to talk a bit about we'll talk about HQ 18.3. So we mentioned in stream a few weeks ago, HQ 18 Phase 3 was due to be released. Bit of a history lesson that when they were releasing HQ 17, they got it all out at once. A lot of players couldn't deal with the difficulty and sort of said, "Oh, I'm quitting the game. This is ridiculous." And sort of, I think they lost quite a few players. And Space Ape realised that for HQ 18, they couldn't do that, and they need to release it in smaller stages. So they announced we're going to release it in 4 stages, and make it smaller steps. And my criticism was always that these steps should be pretty much equal. That's what my thinking was. So it's regular increases in difficulty. And we've not had an increase for about 9 months now. At all in difficulty. Now, we've had a lot of things released that make the game easier. Mainly Ruination, if I'm honest with you. And these have made, wars quite easy in some way. And so Space Ape announced that they're bringing out Phase 3 finally. After much of the top players sort of, putting their complaints forward that we've not had any new releases such yet. And they sort of came in the chat and said, this is what we're going to bring out. I think I spoke about this previously, but we'll go over it again so people understand what we're sort of talking about. So they announced an upgrade for the MDS, which was no surprise. But I think the big surprise for most of us was the increase was from 8,040 health, which it currently is, to 11,160. And I know that people will go like, oh, 11,160, that's quite high. But I think that's not the all of it. I think the problem with it is how much it will be after they have added hard mode and Prime League. So once you've added Prime League and hard mode onto that, you're talking 13,950 health, almost 14k health. To give you an idea, that's more than a shock tower. Wow.
That's beefy.
Other things that they announced, there was no surprise in that the fact that they announced that Spider-Man will get an upgrade. A 30% upgrade though is quite a bit, but they are quite easy to take out, so I don't think anyone was opposed to a 30% increase. They mentioned how getting 2 extra mines, which we did talk about when Blur was brought out as a 5-star. We said he was quite OP. It was hard to counter against him with 4 mines. So we did say we wanted more, and they said they would bring that out at some point. So that was welcomed, I think, as well. And the next one they announced was a turret. They also mentioned making turrets do damage against ground and air targets, so you wouldn't have to put them on anti-air and sacrifice ground attacks. And they also mentioned that they were going to look at bringing out a anti-air guided missile core. So like guided missiles, but would hit bots whilst in the air, which you would replace guided missiles with. They also mentioned they would bring out a Alpha Trion core, which would increase range of the defense or defenses in an area of where you would place that core. A Solus core, which was a turret, which matches the obviously attack core of placing a turret down with certain health and DPS. An Onyx core that would increase its survivability, some sort of shield and damage absorption around 40% health. A waterproof dome, which was obviously a counter for Ruination. Plain and simple. And then Battle Boost Mark IV. So quite a lot of releases, but it was hit with a lot of frustration from playtest. And the main reasons were that we felt like the MDS jump was too big. The MDS are the biggest focus of any war attack, pretty much, on how you're going to take them out. Probably one of the first things you look at, along with mine placement, outpost placement, combiner, prime cores. So I don't think the MDS needed much of an upgrade. So it's a huge upgrade of, I think it's like a 25% damage increase and 20% health increase, something around that. So it's a massive increase in health and damage, 20-25%. And I think the biggest frustration was that they brought out another turret. Well, I think when everyone heard that they're bringing out another defense, everyone thought, oh, another beam laser, another launcher. Something's going to do quite a lot of damage. Maybe even another shock tower to put a prime core on. So when they announced that it was a turret, I think a lot of people were really frustrated by that. And I think even some of the top players thought another outpost would be ideal. We talked about this in length when HQ 18 was released on what we wanted. We talked about mines, big discussion around it on whether you wanted to counter sack or not, whether it would kill sack, which we don't want to do. And a lot of talk about a fifth outpost. And we sort of felt like we were getting it at some point. And I think that with the anti-air, is air much of a meta at the minute? No. So are we just sort of killing a few niche bots? I mean, we have got Brainstorm, we have got Airbray, but outside of that, most air bots aren't really used. And sort of gunners get an easy ride. Gunners are more in the meta than air bots are. So we felt like it was a bit outdated, buffing anti-air now. And so we just felt like everything that we sort of felt we wanted, we weren't sort of getting. It's me especially. You know, I think that mortars, I think that cannons, shock towers are okay because the cannons, the shock towers house prime cores because they're high HP. Mortars target protocol, they target your gunners and your healers, do a good job. Beam lasers do high damage, the MDS is great. So you're talking launchers and turrets, if they needed some good cores. And the anti-air core was a bit of a letdown. So the core was a bit of a letdown. The lack of any good release of defenses was a bit of a letdown. And the MDS increase was too much. So they seem to be focused on things that they didn't need to. Should have gone easy on the MDS and then really hit home with the other defenses. I've said previously the problem is that there's too much focus on the MDS and not enough on the rest of the defenses, especially turrets. What did they do? Bring out another turret and buff the MDS too much. And so very frustrating for me. And then couple that with the fact that Alpha Trion gives a range increase. Now all the defensive prime cores match the attack prime cores, and the attack prime core gives you ability points every sub-second. Now they said that they can't do a mechanic which takes away points for certain seconds and hours, which is fair enough. But we said, why not have it where in a certain area, if you destroy them defenses, you don't get any points back? Something around that. Maybe make the 3-point buildings give away 0 points rather than 3. Just make something a bit more difficult around points. There were some good ideas in the chat, but I don't think they have the tech for it. But my problem with that is that they knew this Alpha Triumph core was coming out when they announced Prime cores a year ago, 18 months ago. They knew this was coming. And I always talk about planning and their poor planning. I don't believe for 1 minute, 18 months ago, they thought, right, okay, the Prime cores are coming out. For the Alpha Triumph core, what should we do? Oh, we'll do a range increase. I feel like they've left it, they've not got an idea for it, and they've left it and left it and left it, and then gone, well, we haven't got any ideas, but we have to do something. Oh, let's get a range increase. It just doesn't match what it's supposed to do in the game. So there's a bit of backlash around that as well. The Solus and Onyx turret we tested at the release of HU18 or HU18.2, and we decided that then that the Solus core was massively underpowered, needed a massive buff, wasn't good enough, and we decided the Onyx core was massively OP and needed dialing down. That was a discussion they had. And then they decided not to release them and released the other Prime cores instead. I think at the time it was Primer, maybe Megatronus and Vector, something around that. The last few Prime cores they released. And then they disappeared and they've come back again exactly the same. So all that feedback we gave originally that these needed to change, nothing has been done behind the scenes, nothing's been discussed. We just got the cores straight back again, where Source needs a buff and Onyx needs a, a bit of a pull back from what it was, a bit of a nerf as such. The waterproof dome, they sort of give it one hand, take the other. They're giving us a 5-star ruination, then bringing out a waterproof core to nerf him. So why give him a buff and a nerf at the same time? It's a bit contradicting. But, where's his 5th outpost? That's the big one I think everyone wanted. It's an easy fix to please, I think, most of the players. I don't think it's do a massive problem at lower levels. In Cybertron, things like that 5th outpost. Not going to make people time out. It might help with Prime League to make it a bit tougher, having a 5th outpost. And I think that, where's the acid fire cores that we tested around? When we tested the Solus core and the Onyx core, I think the anti-acid and fire cores will be a pretty decent addition. But again, we just tend to be adding on build-bot cores and build-bot cores and build-bot cores. And I've said previously that the more build-bot cores they keep releasing, the more watered down it's going to be, how useful they are. And it's going to get to a point where they even need to buff the cores even more so that you can use 4 or so. Because if you've got 15 cores of build-bots, you would expect that you could choose 1 to protect your whole base. Right now, they protect a decent area. And I think that's how it should be. So you need a couple, 3, 4 of each to protect your whole base. Where it's getting to the point where if you've got 20 of them, there's so many things that you can't protect against that you're open to pretty much everything, if that makes sense. So I just feel like it was a really poor release. And I kind of lost my head a bit and just said, if you think, and I'm going to use the right word for this, because I think it's important. I think that's the word that actually got me thrown out. And I said, if you think that this is what the top players want, you're deluded. And that was I think the word that they didn't really enjoy me saying. But it's true that if they really think that this is what top players want, they want a turret, an anti-air, cores, and we want an Alpha Triumph core that gives a range increase, and a waterproof dome. If that's what they think that the community wants, then I am baffled at where they're getting this sort of from. And I've always said that they kind of listen, but only to things that they want to hear. The things that they don't want to hear, they kind of ignore a bit. And I've no doubt that these things are passed on, but I think time restraints are a big factor. And so, after the sort of play test, announcement, discussion, a lot of pushback from most of the play testers, Space Ape said, for the time being, we're going to shelve it. Put it on the back burner for a few weeks until we kind of sort this out. And that's when I was removed. Around that time. But, sometimes my language is not what it should be. Maybe used the right way. But I always speak my opinion. I'm always honest. I speak my mind. I don't hide it. I don't, beat around the bush. Let's just say it as it is. And some people don't really like that, sadly. And yeah, maybe the language I used wasn't correct. But it's true. It's frustrating, when all these things are happening behind the scenes, and I'm doing streams every week, and people are saying, "This needs to happen. This needs to happen. This needs to change. Why is this not working?" And we just kind of get ignored constantly to the point of frustration. And then when we kind of get so frustrated that we kind of bite back a bit, that's when it kind of falls apart a bit. But pure frustration on my part. But let me know what you think about the HQ 18.3 release. What would you like to see? What defense would you like to see? What cores would you like to see? What ideas have you got for new cores? Do you think the anti-fire, anti-acid, anti-water cores should come? Is Ruination too overpowered to the point of being ruining the game at top levels of the game? So let me know in the chat. Let me know what you guys think about HQ 18.3 and some ideas for it. And hopefully we can see it released soon, but as we want it. So, Grind Time, what's your take on all that HQ 18.3?
Well, the extra laser turret scares the crap out of me. I don't know what I'm going to do now. Because, definitely pay attention to where those are on the map whenever I'm scouting the base.
Yeah, it's a point, right? That no one looks for them. No one. Nobody's ever looked at a map and gone, "Where's the laser turrets?"
Maybe if they brought out a bunch of anti-acid, anti-fire cores you could put on laser turrets, maybe then you would look for them. But that's it. And air-guided missile thing, I'm not taking off the guided missiles to hit gunners and healers to hit one airbot that may or may not be on a team. No way. I'm not taking that off. So that core is not going to get used.
I think the core just did more against airbots and targeted them when they were in the air, I think. So.
Okay.
Not a disaster of a core, but I just think that we were crying out for anti-air to be buffed for HQ 17. And I said to Dale, I said, it's like they've watched my stream from 3 or 4 years ago and gone, "Oh, that's a good idea." It was. It was in HQ 17 days. Not now. When people doing air shows, things like that, people using jet fire, all these sort of bots. Yeah. Good idea. But not now.
I'll be honest. When I filled out that survey, and I did, I started it, and I tried to be as honest and as put down as many things as I could. But even in the middle of it, I thought, and I put this in the survey, it's like I feel like I'm wasting my time because we've done this time and time again. I did everything to making videos about stuff that never ever, got spoken about or anything. Like it never went anywhere. Like I'm kind of tired of time throwing ideas to you guys for the game that I'm paying you to play. Like you should show a little bit more consideration and a little bit more appreciation for those that really get in there and play it and have the ideas and manage the top alliances and all that kind of stuff. Because people may say, well, they can't cater to just the top alliances. You're right. But if you look at the top alliances, most of them are the top of a big family of alliances that are also growing the younger players, the players that are new into it, the players that are still learning the game. They're learning in a tier system from those of us that have been here for a long time, and in a lot of cases have invested a lot of not just time but money also into the game to get to where we are.
Yeah, I think it's a fair point, though. If you don't, when you've got likes of myself, with the content creators, things like that, and you've got high-level players going, "Yeah, don't bother with that bot, don't bother with this, don't invest in that," then people start to think like, "Well, maybe I won't then." Where if you've got us going like, "Yeah, you want to get that bot, this bot's really good," like, people are like, "Oh, I might go for that event this weekend, or I might go and chase those 5-star shards to pull that bot." Bit of positivity behind it, but I think we're just lacking that a bit because of just some poor decisions behind the scenes.
And it's just like the stuff about like them redoing wars. In the survey, I went back and I said, "Here's my video I made over a year ago, or was it 2 years? I can't remember. It's been a while." And I was like, "Here's a link to it if you want to hear I'm not going to sit here and waste my time typing it all out again. I made a video that long ago telling you when you asked the first time about redoing wars. Here, read this or watch this. If you're interested in my opinion, but I don't expect to actually watch it. I don't expect to actually hear back at all." And that's just kind of become a little bit jaded from the experiences of it, which is sad. But I still enjoy the nostalgia of the game, and the community of the players that we play with. That's the reason why I stick with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the game can turn a corner. I just think that they haven't done enough with it. A lot of focus was on Titans, for quite a while, for a couple of years maybe, and I don't think it's had the impact on the game that they thought it would. And I said today, I think that Titans were the worst additions to the game, and it's not because Titans are awful. I just think for the time and effort they put into Titans, for what we got out of it. I mean, what did we get out of it? We got, let's be honest, a glorified battle boost during a war attack,
Yeah.
and Titan assault, and making leveling easier. If they would have brought out Mark 4, Mark 5 boosts, and let's forget the monetization from Titans, let's not talk about that, but they would have brought out Mark 4 and 5 boosts, the Titans, and increased or brought out some better leveling bots as part of the endurance bots, what would have been the difference?
Right.
I just think that, Titans are overhyped.
They look cool though.
Oh,
They
yeah.
do.
Oh,
They do
yeah.
look cool.
Can't deny that. Can't deny Titans are cool. There's a difference though between something looking cool and playing and being good for the game. But...
Berserk remembers my idea. Yeah. Thank you, Berserk. Appreciate that. That's an old video I made.
Wow, impressive. Remember that? That's impressive.
I
to
know,
remember
right?
That. Yeah, that's impressive. Yeah. But yeah, anything just to freshen it up. Moving on. So it's kind of on the same thing. So talking to Dale, he announced in playtest, I spoke about this previously, about a sandbox within the game, at probably a higher level for testing purposes. And I think this was put in the survey for a lot of people, talking about synergies. And I've actually got the result of the survey. And it's not surprising, if I'm honest with you. I thought maybe one of the few things is surprising out of the results. But they asked about synergies and whether it was something we'd be interested in. And I spoke to Dale about this. I actually made a call because I play another game, like I mentioned previously, that has a lot of synergies. And I said to Dale, this could really be a massive thing for the game. And I said this about Billbots quite a while ago. I said this could be huge. And I think Billbots have made a massive impact on the game. They made you really choose bots and change your lineup. Not to, I think, the point where they wanted, or even I envisaged, but it has changed the way you play. No doubt. Would you agree with that, Grind Time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think both bots, the cause, although we hate them, were a decent addition in terms of difficulty. And Dale spoke about synergies. And I said, oh, you could go so far with this. You could have all the Dinobots, you could have all the Protector bots, and make them relevant. So Dinobots could have a Megatronus of, say, 10%, but when you add a second bot, you get 20%, 30%. But not just one, but all of them would have like a 50% Megatronus effect if you have all 5. To encourage you to level and get all 5 Dinobots. Protector bots, give them a shield. I know we don't like shields, I complain about them all the time, but it sort of makes it, relevant. Or give them a health boost. 10% health boost for 1 on your team, 20% for 2, 30% for 3, and not just 30% for that one bot, 30% for each. So if you have Blades, Rook, and First Aid, all of them would get a 30% health boost. Again, the stats are not relevant, but you get the idea of synergies. And I said you could have even a Prime section where you would have Optimus Prime, Rodimus Prime, even Hot Rod in there. I know. And bots like that. You could have different synergies and create a synergy. You'd be like, this is a stun synergy. This is a fire synergy. You can have so many synergies within the game. I'm just giving them 5%, but I said you can cross them over. You can put Bumblebee in a Scout one. You can put him in a G1 synergy. You can put him in a stun synergy. And all of a sudden, you've got Bumblebee where it's like, he works with that bot and he works with that bot. Hang on, I can have 3 G1 bots and 3 of them stun as well. So I'm getting double the synergy. And one of them's a Scout, which is Brawn. So I've got Brawn that can stun, he's a Scout, and he's a G1 bot. Him and Bumblebee do amazing together. But you've got to have both of them in your team. And I think that can work really well. I think they can really go with this. And so, from the survey, they had around just under 1,000 votes in terms of the Prime League section, which Dale said it's probably around like, the top level of the game, around how many teams there is that are consistently in Prime League. So obviously a lot of the survey was also aimed at lower players, but I think the Prime League section is aimed obviously at the higher levels. And they asked, is the sandbox appealing? And out of the, I think it's about 800 votes that they had, 636 people said yes. So that's a resounding yes to the sandbox idea, which is not surprising. I mean, it's a good idea. It's something fresh. But then they asked, would you prefer this in Wars? And that was actually a bit less, which was 595 versus 179. And then they asked, should this be a game mode? And that was 682 versus 92. So resounding. But I think that also comes from people wanting a new game mode, wanting something else to play. And my answer in the survey to that was, why not both? Why not have it as a game mode and also have it in Wars? Do it both. And I sort of said that they could even have, monthly things where it's like, this month, and give them resources, give them something for doing it, give them something for the more battles you do, the more points you get. And I'm sure lower players will go, oh, that's not fair. But sadly, the more bots you have, the more points you will do. So like a grind time that's got all the bots leveled will be able to do more points than myself. So it might be this week, you could only use bots that do fire. Go. Do as many attacks as you can with bots that do fire damage. And they can have a leaderboard, and if you're in the top 10%, you get some 5-star shards, you get some G1 cores. If you're in the 20%, 30%, 40%, and you can go along like that. Whatever percent of the players that play it, wherever you stand in that sort of leaderboard, you get a certain amount of prizes, which encourages you to play the game a bit more. And then they asked, what do we think of synergies? And it was 691 versus 83. So I think we can talk from that resounding proportion of people in Prime League, but I think that will equate throughout the game, are down for synergies and want to see it in the game. It's a good idea. And they'll sort of do some baby steps with it, just doing a few random selections of going these 6 bots and these 6 bots. But let's be honest, we could go really mad with these synergies and really have different classes of bots that, really work well together and synergize. I think it's a really good direction for the game, and I really do hope they go with it. But I also hope that they don't stop there and have that as the game mode and go, well, we're done. So Yanis is supposed to be working on another game mode as well. Why not have 2 more added to the game? What we need to do is we need to incentivize Zen farming. We need to incentivize medals. Because, if you want to go for medals, go for it. If you want to incentivize Zen farming, go for it. Have different leaderboards for each so people can pick and choose their poison. But I come back to do that, we need some other resources than just using fuel cells for every single one. Because sadly, you only have so many fuel cells. You can only do 15 battles and then you've got to wait 3 hours. We need a different currency for these game modes. For each game mode, if I'm honest, we're so to be able to play the game. I said to Dale, it's so hard to stream this game gameplay wise. Because once you've done 10 battles, you are done. And 3 minutes of battle, it's half an hour for 10 battles, pretty much. Unless you got a battle past 15, but even so, 45 minutes and you're done. You can't stream it for 3 or 4 hours playing it constantly, which is a bit of a shame. So we'll have to see what they do. We've been down this route before where we talk about these game modes and talk about ideas that doesn't really come to fruition. But no doubt, I think we'll see at least 1 game mode out of this. Will we see 2? I'm hopeful, but we'll wait and see, guys. So, Grind Time, what's your take on the sandbox?
Well, the only thing that upsets me about this idea at all is the fact that they're worrying about making this new idea whenever, again, they talked about updating Wars years ago, and we still haven't done that. Like, war for a lot of players, I would say, probably, is like one of the biggest things you log in for, is to do your war, help your alliance, be able to claim you're the top. I mean, look at the Unicron League. That's the battle of of the top teams going for nothing more than just being able to say we were number one, or whatever it is. That's all it is. The resources are great, or the awards are great or whatever, but really you're going for the bragging rights.
Yeah.
And it's because of war. So a lot of the top teams, I think probably a lot of teams in general are war centered. But we're worrying about making something else before we get to the wars. Like let's do number one first, and then work down the list. Like I like the idea of synergies. I said years and years ago, however many years ago, in one of my videos, how cool it would be if if you drop a team, you've got all the Dinobots on there, and you're using Volcanicus, you get bonuses or whatever. Like back then I wasn't going as far as varied as you were just going, but I was just thinking in terms of using like all of one combiner team on an attack. You get that combiner gets a buff or whatever, something like that, all that time ago. So I don't think it's a poor idea. I'm just not. I don't know. My confidence level isn't there that we're going to really see a big benefit from it. And I would like to see wars fixed first. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, Simon Fernald made a good point. He said the sandbox is ludicrous. When I saw that, I was like, really? But they can't get the basics of the game to work right. Now they're going to add another piece. It's kind of, it comes to the old phrase, you got to do something, do it properly, or do it right. And I think you kind of got a point. That's why I sort of said that, though, if they're going to bring this out this game mode, don't think that is job done. There's still a lot of work to do around keeping people engaged. I said to Dale, I said, dead honest, I reckon I could put this game down for 9 months, come back for the 5-star Ruination event, come back and still be a top player in the game. What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? Yeah.
Yep.
Because we're always swimming with resources. We've got loads. New content doesn't really alienate any old content at all. The old content is still massively relevant.
Yeah. And if you missed any new bots, you probably can use the bots you've got and still do just as well.
Yeah. So. The game is not progressing enough.
For me, this game, and I've said this 100 times whenever I was doing my streams, this is the only one I play. I don't have a console. I don't play games on the PC. This is literally the only game I play. So that's another reason why it's why I've stuck with it so long, even through the frustration, is because this is my one game that I play. So if I was a gamer, or something like that, like I had a buddy that I introduced to the game not long after I started, and he was all about it. He plays lots of mobile games, and the first time it was Huffer was the new bot. That's how old it was. Huffer was the new bot, and that weekend he bought a Huffer bundle, didn't get Huffer, and said, well, that's crap, and he quit the game, and he's never gone back. He requested a refund from Google, and that was it. He was done, and I can't blame him.
Yeah, I get that. I really do. Yeah, I mean, you got to think, like, why have I started playing Marvel Strike Force? Transformers is my love. Why am I playing Marvel Strike Force? Because I wanted to play the game, want to be excited, I've got the time to do it. So, but it's just a bit more engaging. I can go Marvel Strike Force and play for a good hour and a half, 2 hours non-stop. There's more content, there's fresher content constantly released, I think. Does it have its problems? Yeah, like any game. I think it has its problems, no doubt. Does it have its bugs? Yeah. I don't think quite as much as Earth Wars. I think some bugs... Yeah, but anyway, without going too much into it, I just don't think it's quite at the scale that Earth Wars is. But it has some good ideas behind it. I like the way the game plays. It works well. And I think Earth Wars can learn a lot from them, from Clash of Clans, other big companies and big games that do these things well and have good engagement. I think it can work really well. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what they bring out. But yeah. Okay. Time, I think, for advert. Add an advert in. It's just said now would be a good time for an advert. Let's go through the chat, see what people have said. Penning Lancaster. At the end, a player needs to use bots that work for them. I use unusual selection of bots that work on my war team because I know how to use them well. I think it's referring to our. It's referring to the
Yeah, outpost spots. Yeah.
outpost bots. Yeah. Jason Roller, a birth? What's a birth? You're taking the mick out my accent. A buff. Oh yeah, I'll try. But oh no, not another turret. I'm so scared. I'll try again. Give us another shock tower. I don't mind shock towers though because of the HP. Be good for prime cores. Plain and simple. Makes them difficult. Yeah, however, is put the large family alliances have a reach of over 1,000 per family. Yeah, so you know it sort of filters from the top.
And next is my favorite comment of the day.
Yeah, it was a grind time war idea. Multiple nodes is good. Yeah, anything like that really. Dead on GT. I didn't bother with the last survey for that exact reason. Yeah, most of us here because of nostalgia. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Ed's put, please tell about the Unicron tournament with Prime. We're going to come to that. It's quite a long stream today. It's quite a lot to go through. They don't need Mark 4 battle boost. They need to make the Mark 3 boost scale up depending on HQ level. Yeah, fair point.
Yeah, that's good.
It's not a bad idea to fair, but anyway, how are they going to sell the Mark 4s if they don't do that? Yeah, Mercenaries put, I agree with that totally. I want there to be a day where I can go in any batch and say, yes, if I pull any of these bots, I'll be satisfied with any bot I pull. Yeah, I can agree with that. It's so hard to get that it should be. However, I was just going to say 10-20% for synergy squads. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. So I'm not, again, the amounts aren't right, but yeah. But they make it quite hard at the top level, but then give them buffs. It forces you to get them buffs at the top level. So even if they don't, they bring it in at higher levels, maybe. I don't know. Sarah Infernal's put, it's the people that keep me here. Yeah, similar in a way, yeah. King Grimlock, they need a turret removal feature. Yeah, they probably do. I was going to talk about Prime's G1, but I think we need to skip ahead because there's quite a bit to go through still. I want to talk about the new bots and war attacks. We've already been here quite a while already, so I don't want to drag this stream out too long as much. So I think we're going to skip that for this week and we'll cover it next week. But just keep in mind, guys, that Prime's G1 core is broken right now. So yeah, just keep that in mind before you're using it. Be careful with it, but we'll cover it next week. Cool. Okay, let's have a look at some war attacks from myself and grind time. So let me just get the first one ready, and then we can let grind time take us through our attacks. And let me just share this to him. So this is obviously our one prime war. So just to kick off grind time. So to give everyone a bit of a backstory, which is true. So I had a lot of internet problems that day. Not an excuse, but it's true. I still have, to be fair, but they've sort of fixed it a bit. Long story short, but I've got an engineer coming out tomorrow to fix it up completely. So my attacks were last minute because I was doing tests on my router and resetting it all day. I didn't want to do my war attack in the middle of that while they were doing a test as well. I was like, oh my god, but I need to get these attacks in now because I left it too late. So I did my last attack with like 15-20 minutes ago. I wasn't really happy. Failed twice on base 5. And I thought, I need to go hard here. We're maybe 300 points behind. There's not many people left to go. They've still got points on the board. I've got to go hard. So I finished the last base on hard mode. Very nerve-wracking. I finished at hard mode. We all went in. And we were... Was it 70 points behind? 60 points behind, was it?
I was busy at work at the time it was all going down. I was trying to catch up on text and when I could, but it was pretty intense how far back behind we were and the comeback we were making.
Yeah, we came back. I think it was 65 points, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, behind. And we had one person left to go. Now, for those that don't know, when you're in the middle of a war attack, it appears like you've lost. It shows that you've used an attempt but not got the points until you finish that attack and then the points go on the board. So we're in the chat going, is he here? Is he going to play? Is he not? To and fro. Some people are going, we've lost. That's it. He's not here. He's not attacking. We've lost by 65 points. We're out the tournament. All of a sudden, we're all discussing, like, you know, how we could have done better maybe. And someone comes in the chat and went, guys, we've won. We're like, what? And this was like a minute left of the war. And we didn't realise that he was actually attacking at the time. And he was actually in work, busy, but managed to get onto his phone to attack. But was it in the chat communicating, telling us that because he's busy at work? And we were like, what? It was like, we've won it. And so everyone sort of reloaded the screen and we literally won by 10 points. Basically, do or die, last minute, clutch. And I was just like, wow.
I don't know what he scored in that war because, again, I was busy at work and I couldn't keep up on everything. But I know the first round with Prime, he had scored a 300. So the fact that one of our 300s wasn't hitting was just stressing everybody out. And he had communicated with some saying that he was aware of the time.
Yeah.
But still, he wasn't doing attacks, so we were all just freaking out. So
I think he finished on 275. I'm not too. I think he actually dropped on base 5, and he was just waiting to make sure he sort of really concentrated to make sure he got this. But literally, like, it was literally the last few minutes, and it was crazy to the point where I was. You know, I've watched many a sports game in my time where crazy things have happened in the last minute, and I'm like, oh my god, it was like that. I literally jumped out of my seat and was like, what? It was an amazing comeback. And obviously this has left it now to one last final between Sai and One Prime. And I would probably say we were slight underdogs in this tournament to Prime. You know, of the top 3.
Well, we have to be. They're the returning champs, right? They want.
Yeah, we're not a million miles away. I think this shows it.
No.
They are a good team.
You got to give the team that won it the first time the props. Though.
Yeah, I think one with the favourites. Obviously, us and Hall were second favourites. Maybe Giant second favourites, slightly behind. So again, not like a million miles. It wasn't like we looked and gone, oh, we've lost this. We were like, you know, we can win this, but we need to be on our A game to do this. And so we lost the first round. Obviously, won the second one by 10 points. So absolutely unbelievable, amazing. So I thought I'd help some lower guys out looking at our attacks. Don't forget, this is Unicron League, where there's some crazy effects of heal, regen, range increase for mortars and launchers, 40% HP and DPS for all defenses. Combined as an outpost, I've got more HP. Is that everything?
It's one big kill zone is what Unicron League is. Yeah.
It literally is. Healers getting smashed in seconds in some instances. So very, very difficult. You've got to get it right. One wrong move, you have lost.
A lot of guys switched back to 2 healers for Unicron League because one healer would get murdered so fast. Like some guys couldn't get them off the launch pad before their healer was dead.
Yeah.
So.
First war in a long, long time where I have tried different teams, different bots, switched out combat, switched out cores, just to give me that slight edge to get through a base. So,
and you know what? It was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun.
I think the only thing for me was it was time consuming because every attack had to be meticulously thought out and planned and things like that. So I literally spent about 10 hours on the game that day. And it comes down to, again, it comes down to fuel cells and it comes down to cooldowns. You know, you should be able to go after 40 minutes if you want, or half an hour. If you want to. You know, if you want to stop for 2 hours, you can stop for 2 hours. And I've always talked about choice and having that choice. But we're not here today to talk about that again. But it's like a drum that I keep beating. But it was stressful. You know, trying to get these points, every point mattered, and it was time consuming. So I would not like wars like this all the time.
Oh, no,
personally.
huh?
I think everyone's like, I've enjoyed it, but when it's over, thank God it's over, because it's been crazy. But it has been good. I have enjoyed it, and I would like to do it again. But let's go through grind times attack here. So bit of a warpath user. I think we can sort of say that. Use warpath quite a bit.
Generally, I start off with Warpath, and I target any FFDs that I can take out, because FFD, as you know, will make pipes melt and also hurts ruination. So I generally look for those and try to take them out. On a base like this, I started with Rook because I believe there's only one FFD, if I remember right, on this base. And I decided I could take that out a little bit later on, maybe with my jet, instead of having to use Warpath. So instead, I started by popping this bottom section with Rook, and then deploying after that, kind of getting it all rolling in there. I would like to say I've got some big plan and skill set in here, but this is just everything's going crazy, and you're just trying to manage it as best you can while it's rolling out. So
it looks like you've hit the FFD with Warpath to take that out with 2 shots. That would normally take defenses out in Prime League, but we know it takes 3 in Unicron because they added HP. Looks like you're trying to do a lot of damage to the front section of the base, trying to get that down, which I've talked about previously in my other videos about war attacks, not to battle combiners and combat our outposts while getting hit by defenses, just cause a massive kill zone. So looks like you're sort of doing that. It has been sped up a bit, so sorry about that.
All right. And so then after I got my whole team down there, I didn't want to lose my healer and all that stuff, so I went ahead and dropped Ruination even before I took out the MDS, which I know most people try to take out the MDS, which is a good idea because the MDS shreds Ruination, especially in Unicron League. But part of my concern was giving my bots a breather while they were on the launch pad there and getting hammered. I didn't want to start dropping a lot of bots quickly. If I could get them through that initial barrage, I was pretty confident I could take out the top section, just as long as I had them all alive and available to use.
Yeah. So we go on.
And I'm not always the best at managing my SA, because sometimes I get itchy fingers whenever things are going crazy. And if somebody's got an ability pop up, I'll use it, which isn't always the best method to go. But you see there, I got the shield gen down. Obviously, shield gen and liege and whatever's got the liege Maximo core on it, I try to target as quickly as possible. I think a lot of people do that. Try to get those out of there, and then after that, it's just well, in Unicron League, it's hoping you take down the HQ before any defenses that are left melt you. So,
well, obviously taking pipes in there, rushing him in to protect your team because the FFDs are gone, so he will take the hits, saving the rest of your team to hit the HQ. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, next.
You could use pipes. You could also use Rook if the FFDs happen to still be there. Drop a hollow, and the hollow will take the damage. Not as long as pipes would, but it would get it off your bots for a minute.
Yeah. Then we've got the next base here. Backloaded bases. So a lot of people struggle with these bases. So again, we sort of start with Warpath. Target the FFDs, 2 in a line. Is it?
Yep, they were both in a line, which made it real easy because I could take them out. Instead of having to do 4 shots with Warpath to take out 2, I was able to do just 2. So then I dropped Sea Spray, and I tried to wipe out a lot of this front stuff so that whenever I dropped the rest of the team, everybody would move up together rather than splitting or running off. Optimus, what's his face?
Optimus.
That's the one. He likes to run off a lot by himself. So I usually try to drop him late and also try to manage what's left holding up the rest of the team, because he'll run right by those resource buildings and not even flinch. So
Sea Spray just used to path your bots straight up, stopping splits. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Then the idea then is just to hit this head on. Is that right?
Yep. We throw Rook's Hollow in there, trying to pop everything, and then I can't tell from the right there if I did or not. Sometimes I end up having to rush pipes up towards the HQ to pop the combiner and that last outpost.
Yeah, you can see pipes rushing there in that chaos.
Yep.
But yeah.
And then I drop Ruination, and that kind of negates the red alert or run amok shield that was activated there and all that kind of stuff. And of course, Coelagon's probably was the one by the HQ, so kind of uses up his time. And then if I can do any damage with Ruination also, that's great. I usually try to target, again, the Liège, whatever's got the Liège on it, try to get it out of the way for the bots. If it isn't gone when the Combiner dies, then that's what I try to target next with the bots.
Yeah. So, yeah, getting rid of the MDS. Don't forget, when Ruination dies, you get a ability increase for your bots. So, good to take good use of that to take some defenses out. Most defenses are down now by this point. But you see even there, outpost bots are sort of smashing through bots. Really dangerous in this league. Titans won. That helps a lot. Did you use all your Titan attacks on the base here or on the other Titan? Or
I don't remember for sure. I know there was a point in this last war where I realized on some of the bases I did need to use one Titan blast on the other Titan because my Titan kept dying and then my bots would get picked off by the enemy Titan. So I don't remember if this was one of the ones where I did that or not, to be honest with you.
Okay. Generally though, just one Titan blast on the base, or
no, generally I'll use all of them unless I notice my Titan dying. But my first use of it, I like to use the White Crimzeek on the shield gen and then hit it with the Titan blast. Time that up, and that generally takes out the shield gen. And then after that, I'll use the Titan on if my bots are caught up with outpost bots, or if there's a cluster of defenses that are hammering the bots, I'll usually use it there. I have used it before just on a backloaded base, just to hit some of the resource buildings and get some points, so my bots have some SA points to use. I've done that before too. So.
Okay. Next war attack, another backloaded base, but obviously a bit more spread it out. So similar tactic for this one. Warpath to take out FFD. So we've got an FFD top right there, FFD top left, and an FFD mid left as well. So 3 FFDs on this base. So Warpath just using the 2 times, is it? Or
I think on this one I just take out the one that's next to the HQ. I've attacked this design a couple different ways. I think I just took out what was next to the HQ because when I drop Ruination, you can generally take out the other 2 that are closer together, or I can hit them with a jet or something like that. So
yeah,
I'm not sure what I did. Yeah.
No, it looks like you took the one out near the near the HQ.
Yeah.
Would you say it's cost effective though doing that? Maybe just taking one build out with Warpath. I suppose you got loads of points on the launch pad.
You got all those on the front loaded. Obviously, you can replace those points pretty quick, and it's a judgment call. I mean, if you wanted to drop your Ruination and try to take out the FFDs, again, I like to have pipes there towards the end to keep ramming into that HQ and absorbing damage. And if the FFDs are there, he doesn't last long enough to do it. So to me, those FFDs are a priority, at least while I'm using pipes and Ruination.
With the points at the bottom, would you not use Warpath 3 times? Take out a defense while you're doing it, maybe, or?
Yeah, you could do that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That probably would be a better use of the points.
Maybe. Just an idea. I mean, like we've also popped Twin Twist there. You've got one FFD. So how do you counter Twin Twist there when you've got an FFD present?
If I can't hit it with a jet, that'll be a target of Ruination whenever I drop Ruination. Be on that side.
Well, it seems like you've got 3 Twin Twists there, but you've got FFD still intact. Twin Twist pops out there, hits a hollow. Then another hollow. Did you pop 2 Rooks hollows to distract him? Is that right?
He has shield drawn on him. It may have been a shield drawn hollow that he hit too.
No, it's definitely like 2 Rook hollows. Looks like.
I may have done that.
So there's one there. You drop one there with Rook.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you put another one. Yeah. It seems like he goes towards that hollow as well. So, yeah. Did you have Rook's G1 at this point? Reflecting damage as well? Or?
Yes.
Okay. Good idea, actually. Yeah, good idea. I like it. So, this point now, yeah, we've got through half the outpost bots.
Yeah.
Combiner not popped, is that right though?
I don't think I could pop the combiner yet. No, I think I dropped mine a little bit early.
Okay.
Again, just trying to take out as much of the defenses up here as I can. I don't know if the Liège core is still active or not, but just trying to take it out.
No, I think they're just up the top there, near the HQ, I think. So, could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. But yeah, just the combiner left, I think, now, and the MDS.
There's one more outpost over there. Hopefully we don't trip it.
Yeah.
Typically, I'll have a gunner or somebody or Optimal Optimus that'll walk right over to it just to wake him up.
Yeah. And then the Titan obviously helping the HQ, and then base down.
Yeah.
Cool. Some nice attacks. So let's have a look at some of my attacks from the war. So I start in the middle, drop Rook. So I think my idea was if I can pop the combiner and the outpost and get rid of these few defenses at the bottom, I can fight under Trax and Minerva and come out unscathed. Then try to get to the top section, do some damage, use combiner. That was generally my speaking, so my thinking. Sorry. So Shieldron to pop the front. I just realised, Grand Time, you can't just see it, can you? So
yeah, nope, can't see it.
There we go.
Excellent.
One second. So then, yeah, Rook to pop the front with Shieldron. Then I use bots to walk forwards, but there's no FFDs at the front there, so I can pop Trax, pop Minerva down. You can see there, you can't really see the health of the bots on the bottom, but all the bots stay at full health. We've popped Hot Rod or Nemesis Prime here. The idea was to actually get rid of this mortar so that he protects something else which was further away, because then it's not a bother. I was always planning on getting hit by his defenses anyway, so it wasn't an issue. So Shieldon actually popped the outpost of Ray, which I didn't really want it to, but it actually helped in my favour. But they always go around one way, Blaster's minions. So I banked on popping one of the outposts, but didn't know which one, and I thought I'd just deal with the other one, but I actually popped twice because of Shieldon as well. So, but still under that Trax cloud as well, you see there, protecting them from damage. So again, at this point here, I'm sort of a bit worried because we're getting hit by a lot of defenses here, right in the middle. Trax cloud's gone now. Pop the combiner because we want to stop them taking all that damage. In the meantime, we've got rid of. Let's have a look. Did we hit anything? Yeah, so we sent pipes up there to trigger the outpost at the top. Ruination in. Rushing up. Try and do a lot of damage around this sort of cluster and sort of take this out. Then our bots can move up. That's really weird. Why is it showing a lot of win like that? I didn't win like that. What?
The replay feature, by the way, is fantastic too.
I love how that is nothing like what happened after that. Basically, I lost Pike, but Rook survived. I literally just walked up and killed the rest of the defenses. Yeah. Wow. But yeah. Next up. So with this one, I like to sort of try and take some things out from the launch pad, really. And so I've dropped smoke screen there at the back, dropped my bots. I did try. I thought maybe I could use Brawn Air Raid. I keep trying that method, but it's just a bit too slow. And so I know you like to path the way you do with Sea Spray. I like to sort of like do a bit different and sort of take things out from the launch pad. Didn't really work out as I wanted to because I think Blaster actually walks upwards rather than walking down.
Yep, there was waddling in blaster mode to get up there.
Yeah, obviously that's not quite what happened as well in the replay. I love how your replays are really accurate and mine aren't. But the idea was to pop all the outposts, as you can see there, get all the get the combine and everything down low. So we're fighting away from everything. Took all these out here with a 6-gun. So again, just trying to keep them all alive. And then once we sort of get through them, then we drop the combiner. Then we sort of try to take as much of this out as we can, leaving the bots just battling. Obviously, Twin Twist, a big issue. That was the point of where we tried to drop the combiner. And now it's the case of just keeping them alive while they're battling these bots. Seeing there, doing damage, putting pipes in, because FFD's gone, Titan's won. So now it's the case of just hitting the HQ, taking it down. So that's about 90% accurate.
Hoping you don't run out of time.
Yeah, I actually finished that battle with about 40 seconds left, but I know every time I battled that in the past, I've almost run out of time, so it can be quite dangerous.
Yeah, those bases can get you.
Yeah. Next attack. So I sort of worked out. I've faced this base before. I think that's an important factor when you're facing these bases. That sometimes when you face a base, you can go, "Oh, I've done this before. I know how to beat this." It's the ones where it's a weird design you've not seen before. They're the ones that seem to sort of get you stuck. So we drop Rook here, and that pops both them outposts there. So we're bringing everyone down low. So again, we're bringing Twin Twist down here. But where we can sort of, keep them up and rush pipes in. Just rewind that a minute. So as Twin Twist comes down, I rush pipes in just to take that heat off everyone else. So there we go. There is 2 outposts down. So now when we sort of come up, we're battling less outposts. So now all I'm thinking is time might be a bit of a factor. That's what I'm a bit worried about. So we drop Prime over here, and that's just simply to keep the bots down. So we sort of drag them over. Keep them all down below.
Do you only use Prime on base designs like this?
I've Prime rushed quite a few bases as well. Depends if the Prime rush is on or not. Depends what cores are there. Depends where the combiner is. But rather than sort of using Sea Spray like you do, and using a couple of Sea Spray points, I like to use Prime to sort of drag them away. If that one thing goes wrong where one bot is walking off, I could just drag it back in line. Because if I fail on these bases, it's because one bot walks off. That's generally it. And that's what I think these base designs are generally made to do, to make your bots split. You can also drop them centrally and try and take it out that way as well. But yeah. Just like to sort of drag Prime back in again. So yeah, pop the outpost there, which is Laser Optimus. So Roadbuster now, taking some defenses out. So at this point there, I thought, again, I don't think I can get to the outpost. It's too high. This is why sometimes you see the outpost, the combiner outpost placed quite high for that reason, to try and force you to wait and wait and wait and lose bots. So at this point, I was like, you know what? There's not a lot of defenses left. The shield gen's gone. The age has gone. And I think I can take most of these defenses out. So you see there, certain defenses out there. Damage over there in an area. Rush across. Take the MDS, the most important factor. Pop the combiner outpost. Hopefully make his ability stay up here. There we go, away from the bots. Still doing damage. Titans won, so that's helping me. And Dale cuts it short. Thanks. It's really stitched me up there, hasn't it? But yeah, then generally just fight the combiner, fight the outpost bots. Then my only worry there is time. So it's using abilities on the combiner. If I'm using Smokescreen or I'm using Roadbuster just to do loads of damage, or 6-gun. Just if I've got whatever abilities I've got left there, I don't need them for defenses. I don't need them on the HQ. I need them to take out those bots and those combiners as fast as possible just to get to the HQ. And that was all my thinking. And yeah, that's our war attack. So yeah, it was a really good war. I hope you can sort of take some pointers from that if you're striving to be a Unicron player. If you're in Prime League and didn't go for the Unicron tournament, consider it maybe, and hopefully you can take something from that on how myself and Grind Time attack these top bases, and be quite successful. I think a good point for the Unicron League is that no one sat there thinking, we need a 300. I think that, Grind Time was overjoyed when he got a 300 on his alt account for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's, I think when you get 300 in these leagues, it's some achievement, against these top. Basically, I haven't got a single 300 yet, but I'm still quite proud of some of my results. I think I got a 235, 240, something like I got in the last war versus one Prime. That's a decent score. I think if you're beating the commander in these Unicron wars, then you've done well. That's a good result, and that's what we sort of aim for. And people are going easy on some of these bases, and it's good to see that people are strategizing these things, taking them sort of a bit seriously and doing well. But I enjoyed it. Grind Time said he enjoyed it as well. So yeah, here's some more Unicron tournaments, but just not yet.
Not right away. No.
Yeah, look forward to the final, and we'll hopefully we can try that again in the final and hopefully win it. We'll wait and see. We'll have to cover that next week. I think the final is set up for early next week, so by Thursday we'll have a winner of the tournament, and I can't wait. Be good. Let's have a look in the chat. What everyone's put. Mark and myself put, what about base 4 and 5? The only replays I actually got at the minute, sadly. I don't have base 4 and 5 on me. Sorry. What else? Trax has put, if you get to the third base in UL, it's a relief. I hated GT's base U in testing. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's really difficult. How them guys get consistent 300s, I'll never know. I'm honestly going, wow, unbelievable.
That's really impressive to get that Unicron.
Yeah, get a 300 is hard, but how do you get consistent with 300s? That's like, not making a mistake in multiple wars.
I was so excited to get that 300 with my alt because my Grind Time account has the Striker on it, and I only got like a 240 because I struggled. And then I thought, well, crap, now I got to do my alt account. It's not as strong as my main account. There's no way I'm going to. And I just kind of went into it, and then the next thing I know, I'm at Commander, and I haven't lost a base yet. And then I beat it, and I was like, oh, my goodness, I can't believe it. Like, I was freaking out.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. I think it's time to have a look at the new bots. So I do need to stress that these are in the early stages of testing. They're not finished yet. We've probably got another week of testing before we get finalized. But this is sort of Grind Time's first time seeing this bot.
Right now, I can't see it.
And we've got. I've not got a screen yet, don't worry. Yeah, he's going to sort of give us his opinion on it as well, on what he thinks of it. So here we go. So let's have a look at him in the showroom first. So here is Bomber. So some people have said, how's this going to work as a pretender? But as this was brought in the toy line, it wasn't a pretender. It was the outside, and then it transforms into the inner. So if you know pretenders well, obviously it was a very sort of stick thin bot inside the pretender. The outside was just a casing. Do you remember pretenders, Grind Time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a few. I've actually got one on my shelf. I've got Bumblebee somewhere. But yeah, pretender case with the bot inside. But now it just transforms.
Yeah.
So it transforms into the inner, how he would transform normally. So yeah, I get it. That some people will say, well, that's not a pretender, but I understand that it's in line with the toy line. So yeah, pretty good. And then let's have a look.
They could have made it like split open and do it, but whatever.
Yeah. True. And then let's filter it. Makes it easier. Then we've got Metal Hawk as well. So there we go. Metal Hawk looks a lot like the toy line. Transformation. Again, a lot like the toy line. So yeah, pretty cool. Another Air Class bot in the game. People were quite overjoyed when they saw Air Class. So yeah, looks pretty cool. So let's look at the ability. So ability is go airborne and drop bombs in an area to deal 2,853 damage. Leaves a dust cloud, reduces the range of foes in it by 40% for 5 seconds. Then at ability 11, fly to the moon and back. Bit of a weird thing to put in that. Yeah. But for ability 11, it doubles the damage on second use. So yeah, it does say 12%, but it these dust cloud reduces the range of foes hit by 12%, but it is 40%. So it does need a bit clearing up. That it's a bit confusing, the ability 11. But what we can take from it is that it's going to do double damage. So at max, at 70, 10, not max, but close by. Just 2,853 damage. Obviously, because aircraft, you can equip an EO core. Because air class, you can equip a ranged combat. DPS 1,200, which is obviously quite high, but obviously that's exaggerated by Nightstick, and then health 20,300. So, grind time, first impressions. What's your thinking?
Well, the SA-11 says that if it doubles on second usage, but if he's flying to the moon, you're only going to get one use out of him because he'll never get back in 3 minutes. So.
Yeah, fair point.
I don't know. My first impression, of course, I haven't seen it. This is the first I've seen of it. So all I can think of is all the other bots that say in an area typically aren't good. I'm thinking Power Glide. I'm thinking Ultra Magnus. I'm thinking, other bots that do damage in an area, and it's kind of unreliable because generally you're wanting to hit a specific target. So I'd have to see how it works. I'd have to see how that dust cloud. How much it actually helps. Is the SA-11, is it untimed? It's just permanent once you drop it because it doesn't have for 5 seconds on there.
Yeah, it doesn't. It wasn't to say 5 seconds there. I think it just needs a timer added on. I think the ability 11 just needs clearing up.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it sounded a lot like Topspin in terms of I know that reduces the damage. This reduces range. It's also a cloud. Doesn't last very long. So all that sort of really sort of spoke to me about like Topspin. And also doing sort of damage in an area. But obviously Topspin does a lot of damage to the final target. Mm-hmm. And that was the big difference for me. But I think that was the big selling point from Topspin was the bot does this damage and then reduces damage as a secondary. Where for me, this looks like the damage is secondary and the effect is primary.
Yeah.
That's the way I sort of took from it. So we'll take it into battle and we'll see how it looks. So we're in zone 15, nothing too crazy, nothing too mad. But we're going to try it probably against our own base, but just wanted to try it in zone 15 first to give us an idea on how it works, and we can put it through its paces. There was a bug with this when we got it in testing where it's popping outposts, the actual cloud itself. Obviously, that's a bug. They're going to fix it. I'm not sure if it is fixed or not, but we'll give it a go. So there's Metal Hawk. So I would say it's an okay range. I wouldn't say it's like OP, crazy. What's your opinion on the range there, Grind Time?
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything mad, but they put it down in an area there so we can think it's got to hit a defense a bit like Power Glide in a way. So it's hit 3 defenses there. Done decent damage in an area. says 2,500 damage, but it seems to have done a bit more than that, it looks like. It says 2,500, but it's a bit misleading. But yeah, if you try and press an area though, look there, it'll just basically target the nearest defense. But it's decent damage. So you see there the mortar, because it's range reduced, the mortar's no longer hitting me. So let's just do this. So it's doing quite a lot of damage, more than I thought it would from the description.
But is it right?
Well, yeah, that's a big question.
That's the question.
So let's take it to a higher level. It's doing a decent amount of damage there and destroying defenses before we can see it. Let's take it into a base trial against HQ 18, and we'll sort of see what the range gets reduced to. So we'll drop Metal Hawk around here, I think. See there, it's targeted by the 3 mortars straight away. And let's use the ability in the area. See there, it did have the 853 in an area there. Is what it did. But you see now the mortars aren't hitting him. Now they go again. Hit them again. It is currently 3 plus 5 though, as a cost.
Yeah, it's too expensive.
So what's your first impressions in grind time?
It's meh. It's meh.
Yeah,
I don't. And I'm gonna wait to see what the final numbers are. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
I mean, this is just the very first iteration, so they got a lot of tweaking to do still.
Yeah, I just think that it's expensive. I think the three's alright, that's fine. Plus 5 is very, very high. And so I think they're quite worried about people spamming it, but I'm like, I wouldn't. I don't think like, you're gonna spam this and spam it. I like the reduction on range part, but the damage is awful.
Brief. The reduction in range is too brief too for the cost.
Yeah, but I think the problem is that it's very low damage, but they can't give it high damage because then what's the point in reducing the range of defenses they're going to kill?
Yeah.
So I think they're kind of a bit at a stumbling block there, in that I think the damage is pretty much set or thereabouts. You're not going to get much damage out of that more than 5k. I don't think you're getting more than 5k for 3 plus something. What do you think a reasonable cost would be for that, though?
3 maybe? 3-2?
Yeah, I was thinking 3-2, 3 plus 3. It just needs to be a low damage at that cost. You couldn't have 7-8k damage in an area for that cost. So I think 3 plus 2, 3 plus 3 will be fine. I think the reducing range is good. It definitely needs extending the timer from what it currently is. 5 seconds. We talked about it earlier, and you said 3 seconds of stun for Skyburst was the reason why you sort of put her in your don't invest in these bots, because 3 seconds was nothing, and then we've got 5 seconds here. So I think that needs extending massively. But I think that Space Ape here being a bit cautious. I think they're a bit worried about reducing range of defenses for an extended period of time. I think that's why they put it as 3 plus 5 and only 5 seconds. So I'm just worried that playtests won't get what they want from this. They won't get a long duration. They won't get any more damage. And that is the worry, I think. I think the 40% range decrease is fine. Giving it half the range, I think that's alright. But again, I just look at this and I think, does this make you want to look at it right now? I mean, we can only judge it right now. And yes, there are going to be changes. Definitely, I think they'll increase duration. I don't know what to. I think they'll reduce the cost. I don't know what, 2. I think they might even give it a bit more damage. That would be my suggestions. But if they, let's just say they increase the damage to 4k. Let's say they make it 10 seconds and it's a 3+3 cost. Are you excited for this bot?
I don't know if excited is the right word. I'd be happier with it. There's a chance I would actually use it. If nothing changed on it, then it doesn't get a time increase, doesn't get a price reduction, it doesn't get used. Basically, I mean, I'll get it because I get them all and I want to collect them all. But as far as using the bot goes, no, I wouldn't really use it.
Wouldn't go into your water in any way? No.
Maybe with the increases, but not if it stayed as is.
Yeah. I don't think with the increases, I think like, how am I going to use it? Who's it going to replace? It's not going to change my tank, so it's not replacing the likes of Rook, Blaster, or Pipes, or it's not going to replace obviously Minerva, which is my healer, and it's not going to replace Roadbuster as a one shot. So then my next question is this going to replace Sea Spray or Six Gun? Probably not either. So, I don't know. I don't see. I think they're sort of going with sort of like support aspects for these new bots. In a way, they did mention that this bot would be really good on defense. That was sort of the aim, to make it a defensive bot. So I think that if you're reducing the range of your bot's fighting capabilities by 40%, so your gunners that have got glitch on will all of a sudden be brought into the cluster. But for how big the damage area is, if you drop a hollow on this as an outpost bot, they put it to you grind time. So if you, let's just say we gave it all the things we said, 10 seconds, 3+3, 4k damage in an area, are you putting this in an outpost?
Well, I would have to try it out and see how it worked.
I just think like the likes of Blades, very easy to distract.
Right. Yeah, I was about to say I've only got one jet on my war team right now, and that's whichever one does the hollows. Can't remember which one that is. One of the mini Jetfires. And the only reason why I have it, there's 2 reasons. One is in case I see Computron or Lyokaiser, I can try to distract them with the hollows. And 2, to take out an FFD if it's out of range or whatever. If I don't want to hit it with, spend the points it takes to hit it with Warpath twice, then I'll use it. And I don't see this replacing either one of those, reasons why I've got that jet on my team. So
yeah, I also think that having we talk about bots in outposts, people are going away from low HP outpost bots. They want something that has a good ability, but also something with high HP. Hence why you see the likes of Beachcomber, Laser Optimus, even Rhinox to a degree, Twin Twist, Quellagon, all these sort of bots. So all these bots have high damage, high HP. That's the key. So I don't see why they're looking at air bots for outposts. In that case, we would see the likes of Blades in outposts. Smokescreen, not so much anymore. Six Gun, Sea Spray. We don't see these bots in outposts because once they've used their ability, then they're pretty much useless. They're gone.
Right.
So I think if they are aiming for a bot for outposts, I think it's kind of the wrong direction for an air class bot. Air class bot should be saved for attack, really. But changes can happen, like we said, like Grind Time said, as it is right now. But I've no doubt they are going to make some changes. It's a good direction I think they've done in terms of reducing range. I just don't think it's going to work out as well as they thought it would. I don't think this is going to be game changing, which for me, endurance bot should be. It's an endurance bot. It takes a lot to go for it. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of time. They should be game changing, game breaking to the point where you're like, I want this bot. And I criticised Beachcomber for being purely defensive. He's a great bot on defense. We've seen that in the war, but he's nothing much outside of that. And I said, listen, it needs to be good on attack and defense. And for the time being, how I envisage this bot might go, I can't see them buffing it incredibly a lot. How this bot might go, I just can't see it being either a good defensive bot or a really good attack bot, which leaves it in that sort of mid-section. But again, changes can be made. We'll have to wait and see what the playtesters do with it. Nothing to do with me, guys. Don't blame me. And yeah, we'll come back next week and we'll see the final result, hopefully. Cool. But yeah, bit of criticism of the look of Metal Hawk, and then wouldn't it be 10 or 15 seconds? Ed put Blades is better. Yeah, some of these decisions that are just weird. Like, why 5 seconds? It's these things that frustrate me. It's like, who was sat there and gone, oh, let's give us something ability that lasts 5 seconds? It's just really poor. Damage is fine, needs more duration. Yeah, agreed, yeah. Dustin, brilliant. As put, I just pulled Robust that I need pipes to bulk up for war. Yeah, Robust is a great bot. Great. Cyber Inferno, can it work on MDS? Yeah, I presume so. There's nothing saying that it can't. So that's a good positive, that it will reduce the range of the MDS. But for 3 + 5 for 8 ability points, do you want to just reduce the range?
Well, then here's the thing: you reduce the range of the MDS, and then you try to, drop Ruination to take him out. Or by the time he forms, the effect's gone.
Yeah, even at 10, 15 seconds, it'll be gone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
By the time transformation comes in, so I'm not a big fan of, in terms of the MDS, just slowing it. Like, no one's using Brainstorm to slow the MDS and then leaving it. They're taking it out. They're getting rid of it. You need it gone, because once that effect lasts off, you've spent 3 ability points to give you 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You're not done anything else, because once that goes away, and you've got to think, especially in the likes of Unicron League, you could be fighting outpost bots and combiners for like 30 seconds. But they're not gonna give it 30 seconds because that'd be massively OP. So, but then would you use 8 ability points for 30 seconds? Maybe. Jamie Carpenter's put, honest opinion, it's like another useless endurance bot as is. But endurance bots usually aren't good. I think that's a problem, yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony Shimper's put, I would totally use this bot for dispatch missions. Yeah.
Well, I was needing another dispatch bot. So that's
good one. Simon Pearl put, if the time could stack, that would be interesting to test out. I'm not too sure. Don't forget, it does do double damage on a second use, but it does need a lot more. But even to give it 4k, that's still only 8k damage in an area. That's still not a lot. And 3 uses is massively expensive. 3 + 3, that's 3 + 6 + 9 even. That's still 18 points, which is still crazy. So the cost is far too much for 3 uses. I think even 3 + 2 even wouldn't be crazy for this. I think support aspects need to be low cost, personally. Because they're just giving you time. They're not doing much damage. They're just giving you time. That's all they're sort of doing. Yeah. Yeah, Simon Vernal's put 10 + 10 + 10 seconds for, say, 18 points, 30 seconds. I don't know. Yeah, I know you're just spitballing, but I'm not too sure. But reducing an area's range for 30 seconds for 18 ability points is cost effective, especially not in Unicron. Can you imagine using 18 ability points for anything in Unicron?
Nope.
I won't use the 18 ability points for the shield gen cluster in Unicron. You need so many ability points in Unicron just to keep your bots alive, that using anything other than like 5 ability points is like, what? 6 ability points I've got to use for that? No thanks. Because you can't take anything out with one, so you've got to use it twice. So it just gets so costly. Honestly. I used Bumblebee in a couple of war attacks actually, because it's just so cheap. I need something that's cheap that'll just give a bit of respite. A bit of a protection from some defenses sometimes. And it worked well in the way they used it. But yeah. Yeah. Double healers and tracks made a return there. Yes, Inferno, it did. I did use double healer and tracks in the last, not this one, but I think the horde one. I did use double healer and tracks in some wars. But some bases you struggle for time wise if you do that with 2 healers. It was good, this Unicron war. It was good, but I worry what happens when we go back to Prime League now.
I had the same thought.
It's gonna be so easy.
I'm burnt out on Unicron, to be honest. Like it takes a lot. Like a lot of focus, a lot of time, a lot of getting ready and all that stuff. But also it's like once we go back to Prime League, it's going to be like, an adult fighting children.
Yeah. It really is. Cool. Well, that is it for today's stream. Massively long stream. Covered loads today. But as always, big thanks to Grind Time for joining me, even if it only is in spirit.
Woo! Thanks for having me.
But yeah, hopefully we can get the camera working next time. Well, it's not his camera, it's my setup for some reason. It's just not having it. But we'll work on something, guys. Got a bit more time. Because obviously Thursday's a bit mad for me, trying to get my daughter to gym, Jacob to football, just to talk to Grind Time, saying, I'll be home soon. I've just got to go pick my wife up and daughter and I'll be back. So yeah, a bit manic. But if you're still here, I've been here for, what, 2.5 hours? And thank you. We spoke earlier about struggling to stream this game for a lengthy amount of time. We've covered loads of info today, so I hope you took something from this, from the stream. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week where we'll see the endurance bot finished off. We'll cover Optimus Prime's G1 next week. It's not really had time this week. Big thanks again to Jack for Grind Time for joining me. And I'm sure we'll see you again. And thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit a like. Don't forget to hit subscribe before you leave. Share between your friends. And yeah, I'll see you around, guys. Thanks for watching and peace out, guys.